Good morning, everybody. Welcome. Thanks for tuning in. We're going to start here looking at the markets, some key levels. We did have earnings report. We had some news, right? We had Jerome Powell come out. Some big moves on earnings. Give me a second here while I set up. Good morning. Morning, Trey, Trend Trade, Jeff, John, Jim. Jeff, John, Jim. There's a lot of J's in the chat. James, why does everyone's name start with a J? The J's are up early. What's up, Barkster? What's up, Exotic? Morning. All right. Let's see here. We got about 4 minutes to the market open, so we're going to start off getting right into it. Okay, so S&P 500, as of right now, we are starting pretty much outside of the expected move or right about on it for the day. We're basically right there for the daily implied move. Let me see if I can open this up. Yeah, we're basically right on the daily implied move starting for the day today. All right, and this is being driven by, obviously, the earnings that we just had with Meta and Microsoft, and then we have Apple and Amazon today after the close. Yesterday, saw some sell side, saw a little bit of a bounce back. Okay, big bounce back according to the aftermarket when we reported earnings. A couple key levels to watch out for today. Is going to be a local resistance of 6,500, a local support of about 6,400. We're probably going to open in and around near the monthly implied move, and then we have our upper monthly, and then the higher JPM collar up here too as well. Gamma flip lines just above 63.20, so we are still in positive gamma territory. If we pull up the NQ, we're about to open here in the next 3 or so minutes. See, after the earnings, we actually down here and then saw a nice big bump back. A very interesting session yesterday, and I want to kind of walk people through. That was a big hint either into the Fed meeting or the earnings. But if you looked at market net flow, this was pretty interesting to me because earlier in the trading session, the market was kind of going flat. That's the S&P 500. And even further through, but then all of a sudden, just massive move in the cumulative net premiums for calls versus the flow for the puts. And that right there was like, it makes you kind of wonder like what's going on here. And this was leading up to the Fed announcement. And then, you know, I'm assuming that most of this action had to deal with potentially earnings and this whole little fake out here. But that was some interesting action, giving us some insight. So we'll watch for that today. As far as going into the open, we have about 2 minutes left. NQ sliding just a little bit over here, but not obviously by much. We're opening up rather nicely, maybe potentially back right into that expected move. From a zero date perspective, this is what the zero date looks like right here. 6,400 is the kind of call out level. It's been the call out level, but this is for a 1 DTE or today. And then we have 6,500. So traders are reaching out further out to that 6,500 level. We'll look at some individual stocks and stuff like that too. I haven't obviously taken any trades yet. We have about 30 seconds here to the cash open. So we're going to go ahead and prepare this. I'm going to zoom in because I like to watch the 30-second opening range here on NQ. Sometimes if there's a lot of volatility or a huge range, sometimes I do some quick fades. Big move in copper yesterday. That was incredible. Even big move today. All right, so we're fading off a little bit here. Watch for 6,400 in ES if we want to see some continued sell side. That could be a level of, if we get a very fast slam down into 6,400, I might look to execute into that for a little bit of a bounce trade. I'll probably execute into NQ though, or MNQ, if that is the case. So getting a little sell side here in the morning where there's your first 30-second opening range, and we're just trading within it at the current moment. If we break below it, I'm watching for 6,400. There are definitely people investing, at these levels. Sometimes it's just flows, right? We have all types of flows going on in the market. Okay, again, some sell side here. Profit taking in the morning, nearing that 6,400 level. Let the market do its thing. It's kind of on a heater right now. Underneath the 30-second opening range and pulling into and around that 6,400. I might just start with an MNQ down here just to see if I can get a build into a position. So it's going to be a small one. If it even loads, give me a second here. Here we go. All right. Give it a couple more seconds. There we go. All right. So I'm just going to put in an MNQ and probably sell on the first bounce. But I'm going to see if we can get down through 6,400 and maybe U-turn through that for just a quicker kind of bounce trade. Okay. Market net flow early in the morning, not giving us much. Not necessarily bearish, not necessarily bullish. Got to give it some more time. You can see here we started off at the daily implied move. Go figure. And we're getting a little bit of a sell side. We'll take a look at some of those earning names momentarily, but I just want to make sure that I get some sort of a little trade-off here while the market's slipping. Getting a little bit of a bounce back. Not much. Not my favorite right there. Okay. All right. What's up, Blubber? What's up, 567? What's up, Nobody? What's up, John? Take a look at who else is here. What's up, Generator? We're right here. We're waiting for around that 6,400. I execute an MNQ in here early. See if I can build into the position. And if I can't build into it, I'm probably just going to exit on the first little bounce back up, maybe potentially two in around the opening range if it wants to go that high. But I'll just kind of trail a stop here. I'm going to put an anchor volume weighted average price in. We're coming back into daily VWAP right now. So I'll close out a little bit there. All right. I had 2 MNQ. Get through daily VWAP and try to come back up to the opening range. Be a pretty decent trade. Still 1 MNQ on. Almost made it down to the 6,400. I feel like that's in striking distance to touch today. So I think we're probably going to be coming for that. Excuse me. So I clicked for 2 MNQ. I did one and then I did another. I have 1 MNQ on right now. I just exited one on VWAP. And now I'm trying to look to see if I can build back in. If it comes a little bit lower down to 6,400 or around in this range. 1 MNQ is not much, just so you know. But given the volatility, if you're trading with NQs with this type of volatility, you need to be right, especially if you're doing prop firms or your own money. I mean, your own money, you really need to be right, I guess. prop firms, I guess it's not as important, but just getting a little morning trade off with Mike, and then we'll go ahead and look at some individual names. And if other things set up, we'll take a look at it. We'll give a quick look at the tick chart. But early morning profit ticking makes sense. Morning tick chart not giving us much. It's basically at 0. And we're getting held up here at daily VWAP. So through daily VWAP could be a lot more bullish. Right now, underneath opening range, underneath daily VWAP, bears are in shorter term control, very shorter term control. You want to be more focused to the downside, but given the context of a huge gap up, you need to be open for the idea of hitting key levels and bouncing off those. Market net flow is also bullish to start the day. And 6,400 looks like it's coming into play here. All right. A little bit more, yo. I don't have many thoughts on the tariff news. I'm just keeping an eye on the markets. It's from my perspective, and the markets are it feels like they're shaking off a lot of the news, or they're becoming desensitized to a lot of this tariff news. And right now, we're kind of in the heat of the earnings, which the market hardly reacted even to FOMC. For the most part, the copper market responded to Trump's, tariff. I don't have the exact news in front of me right now, but that was pretty impactful move. I mean, we're talking like a historic move in copper. So some markets are moving, some aren't as much. But over time, when we keep getting these same kind of repetitive headlines, things get kind of desensitized, and we look for the newest thing. Amazon giving back its earnings. TQQ sell. TQQ sell. I got still a little bit longer to go here. 6,400 still in striking distance, in my opinion. I'm waiting for it. It's okay, Jim. Yeah. All right. My face is blocked there. No, I haven't done any sort of update video on the live account. All the what's it called were changed for me. So like the amount of drawdown, the amount of everything. So I haven't really been doing good in the Tradeify live. I've been doing fine. I started another prop firm that my screen just went black. Okay, it's back. But I've been doing good in my other prop firm that I haven't said who it is yet or who I'm trying, because I haven't got the payout from them yet. But if I get the payout, I'll talk about it. We pulled in $80,000. That was pretty amazing. $80,000 in about 80 days, 80 trading days, which was just crazy. And then the last 2 weeks, have been a little bit more focused on my swing trading account, but haven't even been doing much on those. So it's just been small little trades in a new prop firm here and there, a little bit in the live, but just haven't made any progress on that. All right, so a little bit of sell side in the morning. We have this kind of big level at 632. That's a huge level. 632 is way down here, though. Still well within daily implied moves. This right here is a SPY on the 15-minute chart. As you can see, we started up at the daily implied move. This is what the market was pricing in for today's trading session based off of, the options market. And we came right into it, and we're seeing a little bit of sell side here off the early gate. Kind of coming back into If we just look at prior areas of resistance can become potential support. So in and around this little area over here, about 638 can be a level to pay attention to. XLC leading the way today. Let me actually pull up my vol range. Okay, XLY unchanged, XLU basically unchanged. XLU has been doing quite well so far, breaking out of this little tight contraction pattern. Financials down slightly on the trading session. Home construction pulled back a little bit here. Materials, XLRE pulled back after a nice breakout. Healthcare still very sluggish. Consumer staples, not looking too healthy for consumer staples. Energy, still putting in higher lows. Yeah. All right, we're coming into that 638. Let me see here now if we finally got into the 6400. So there's a 6400. I'm going to go ahead and add one MNQ. So now I got two MNQs back. I took one for profits, and then now I basically break even. So I'm going to try to build into a position for kind of the initial bounce. We'll see if we can get a bounce. I would like to just get close more back out through the daily implied daily opening range. But if we can't get there, I'll probably reduce back again at daily VWAP and then go from there. But we're right now at that 6,400 level. Now, why is that level important? The reason why I say it's important is because, well, 6,400 from a zero-date perspective is just a gigantic level of interest amongst a lot of traders. So bouncing from that level or seeing a little bit of a bounce, at least in the SPX, makes sense. Remember, we can still see weakness in the larger cap tech, which would bring down my position. But right now, we're kind of bouncing from that from an ES standpoint or an SPX standpoint. So my position right now is basically break even. And I'd like to reduce a little bit, just that daily VWAP, and then see if we can get back up through. If not, it is what it is. I need a Twitch mod once in a while. Maybe if there's more chat coming through. Right now, market's looking fairly weak, like we might take another leg lower here, which I would be completely fine with. Especially with only two MNQs on. All right. All right. Meta is way outside of its earnings expected move. I'm going to remove this trying. The original earnings expected move was here. So we're talking 2 standard deviation and Meta, maybe even higher, and then even Microsoft. Microsoft is what's coming back in, which is really kind of putting that drag on the market here. So this is what's going to kind of pull MNQ down or NQ down. And if we can start bouncing or getting a little reprieve in something like Microsoft, it could be quite helpful. We're floating at that 6,400 right now. As far as market net flow goes, just flatlined, not giving us anything right here. So I'm going to watch tick, and then if we can get a big tick reading, we ain't getting nothing in tick. If we can get like a very fast drawdown, I'd like to do something. Kind of scale into this. Nothing yet. All right. All right, so we came in a little bit here, breaking down from here. I'm just still giving it time before I try to scale more. Right now, still 2 MNQ on. I'm just letting them go for now. Copper was a reaction off of tariffs. It was probably the largest single day move. At least that's what I found on my chart, but I haven't gone back. I don't know how to look up more history than I already looked up. Yeah, it was gigantic. It was crazy. Let's pull it up, actually. Look at this thing. That's insane. So remember, when you see volatility hit, you typically get it in both directions. Strong moves down typically are followed by big moves up. Strong moves down can be typically followed by some sort of a bounce back at some point. So just be aware of that. Wouldn't be shorting into the hole. But yeah, that was a massive, massive move. And if you trade the copper's futures market, just be careful there. Understand just how insane it could actually be. You got to open their DOM and look to see just spreads and how much liquidity there is. Yesterday, it was like kicking field goals through it. It was crazy. It was big. My position right now is underwater for MNQ by some points, but not really all too bad. Like I said, I only have 2 MNQs on. I'm just kind of letting it go. SPY still coming in here off the morning kind of profit taking. So if we can pull in a little bit more and maybe get some just whiter candles, I'll try to get up to and around maybe 4 MNQ and then play up to daily VWAP again. Right now, I'm just trying to look for places to build into a position. I built into one over here. I sold into daily VWAP, got into it again, I think over here. I'm down here now. I think we need to see Apple and Google report to get a good idea. But yeah, I mean, you had big leaders like Meta, right, and Microsoft, and those things ripped. So it's going to be interesting to see how they're going to actually, what they're going to do. I mean, all we can do really with Apple at this moment, let me clear all this out. All we can really do with Apple at this moment is just keep an eye on its expected move, which is $8.97 right now. So are you okay with losing $8.97 and maybe even potentially, so let's just call it $9, maybe even a 2 standard deviation move, because we've been seeing that now on these last 2 earnings. So are you okay with losing up to $16 on Apple? And if so, cool. Right? Awesome. Right? Then be okay with that. But that would be the risk going into the trading session, of the earnings session. Up to that, right? 1 standard deviation would be just $9. And as far as Google goes, when is Google reporting? Is that today too? Or what was the other one reporting? Amazon is reporting. Did Google report? Google reported, didn't it? Or no? Yeah, Google reported. Okay. Yeah, Google hasn't even budged. That was a big gap up and then nothing. Yeah, it's Amazon that's reporting. So Amazon, we're looking at about a $13 expected move with Amazon. Yeah, thanks. Amazon, not Google. Appreciate it. I still think that Apple, there can be a rotation into Apple. I think probably people are going to get shaken out. What I'm looking at here on Apple is price is just getting held up at the year-to-date VWAP. So if price can get back above year-to-date VWAP, I think that opens the door for Apple to try to play catch-up. Either that or we're learning something very valuable about this market right now. And Apple still, one of the larger market cap names, still has been considered the market, right? And this one has been a massive laggard. Maybe it's been foreshadowing something and it'll look obvious in hindsight, right? That's always a possibility too, but I think we need to see earnings, how they respond and how they report. And if we can get through this year-to-date VWAP, I mean, that'll change the whole psychology, right? Because think of it. This basically from the start of the year, every single person, right, based off of that time and volume is basically the average person would be underwater in the price of Apple. Right? So if all of a sudden the average person is all of a sudden in the green, right? If everyone's in the green, I should probably look at my position. Give me a second here. The psychology shifts, right? It gets a lot more bullish. People are more excited. Let me pull up my stuff here. Where are we? Dang it. We just came back into daily VWAP and I missed that. Let me, gosh, I hate trading live. I would have executed. I would have exited one right there. I guess I'll just exit one. Shit. That sucks. That's annoying. All right, I'm back to 1 MNQ. I would have just, like I said, if I was paying attention, I would have got 1 MNQ out there, but unfortunately it was down here. That's fine. So if we can come back down, I'll just try to rebuild into a position again. We're still climbing above that 6,400. That's that level, that the main area what I was paying attention to. If we can get through daily VWAP, I mean, I think it's still possible we go back to the opening range. Remember, there's a lot of heat in this market here, right? Unless if everything wants to completely collapse on itself, but Meta is near its highs of the day. Microsoft is the one that pulled back a bit. And this one, you know, that's going to put some weight on the Nasdaq for sure. Right, this one's coming back in here. That's some weight. Now, I would imagine that we're probably going to see some sort of a bounce, maybe retest daily VWAP, right? Come back up into it and so forth. But all right, now let's take a look at NVIDIA. Just hanging out at its upper eyeball range here too. Not much. Dang, XLC is really cranking today. Verizon, huh? Verizon is interesting. So we reported earnings on Verizon. This actually looks like a pretty good swing trade. Right, I've been looking for, you know, additional names to get exposure in, and Verizon earnings past, earnings consolidation. A lot of lower highs here, but price action is getting pretty firmed up and pretty tight, and it's in confluence with a lot of stuff here. Now, there's a lot of declining averages, but we're holding that VWAP for year to date. So if we can actually kind of just hold this little pattern and we break to the upside, that could be quite nice actually for Verizon. Let me take a look at a couple other communications. So T-Mobile, earnings, nice. It pulled in a little bit and it's kind of consolidating here. AT&T, oh, this is interesting too. Take a look. Bearish earnings move, close incredibly bullish, and now it's kind of consolidating like in a flag. So both of those, AT&T and Verizon, man, I feel like, yeah, and this one's clearly the more bullish trend, but yeah, I wonder what up with Vodafone, VOD. That one's pulling back into the 50-day. This one's a little bit, obviously, a little bit more all over the place. This is an ADR, American Depository Receipt. Look at Carvana. Yeah, we'll pull up Carvana. Carvana, yeah, a nice big bullish move. This was a nice consolidation, but unfortunately, I can't play this, you know, going into earnings, unless if I'm doing some sort of earnings butterfly or something like that, which I don't really do, but that would be kind of a way of looking into it. Yeah. So now I would just look to see how this kind of consolidates. I'll pull up Disney too. Disney also very, very like tight pullback over here, but that's also coming into earnings. All right, so we're back above the daily VWAP. So I saw that MNQ on. I'm in the green here, but 1 MNQ. That 6,400 looks like it held. Okay, so for anybody that was flipping out or tripping out, maybe your position was too big. Right, an MNQ or 2 MNQs does not scare me. I can get up to like 30 of them, right? So if you're worried about little pullbacks like this, or you're going too big, too heavy, too fast, then you know what that means. It means you have to slow the roll a bit to maybe build the position and so forth. So you get to watch that somewhat live. Actually, it is live, but I guess, you know, there's a little bit of delay in some cases. But then also 6,400, was it a perfect tag? No, it wasn't a perfect tag. I mean, let's be honest. A low 90, so it went to basically down to 6,397. So 3 points under on a $6,400 product. Yeah, I think that's pretty good, right? I just don't want to. Wait, for what, Wolf Banter? I forgot what I said about, or what you're commenting on. All right, for those that maybe missed the pop through VWAP, let's see if we can actually pull back and can hold and maybe try to find it now as a level of support if it wants to get there. I guess I could have shared on my streams that I was live on X. I forgot to do that. Oops. My bad. Dude, I didn't even announce it in the Discord. Oh my goodness. I forgot. Oh, bummer. Although I did say it somewhere. Give me a second here. Okay. So did anybody trade through 6,400 on either SPX, ES or NQ or anything? Anybody managed to do that? Oh, it popped up in announcements. Oh, yes, Stinky Man, thanks. I forgot that it does that. Ah, yes, wonderful. I forgot that it did that. Can't post a video without us knowing about it. Okay, yeah, good point. I forgot about that. I forgot. You traded it through on SPY? Nice, AJ. See, now, a lot of other traders that trade momentum or trade like for just the day, day traders, right? They probably saw this as a bear flag, which they would be right because it was underneath, opening range, underneath VWAP, and they probably would have traded this. Maybe they would have exited some, maybe they didn't. But if they got overly bearish for like this massive reversal and not knowing the context of where gamma or where options levels were, right? Say the 6,400 on SPX and the big gap up, if they just didn't take that into consideration, it's like very common to see these type of traps. So you get a quick move down, and if you're not aggressive to take it out or take profits, then you can kind of get these snapbacks, right? Still opportunity in it in both directions. But for example, if you were to short the open, like for profit taking, okay, cool. Maybe that's a way to do it. But, if you're waiting patiently, like maybe this, I guess, or maybe short back through VWAP, maybe, and then you'd have to wait through consolidation. I guess that could be another route to take. Right now, the price action, there's not been too many setups other than me just looking to play the 6,400 if price even got down there, all right? What is this level? All right, well, I'm going to just exit up. This is a pretty good trade there. I'm going to go ahead and just take mine off. Didn't quite reach back up to here, but I'm sure that it can, right? It definitely can. But now, after a pretty strong move up, I don't want to have to wait to see it come back down, come back up, or do anything like that. It was a pretty strong move. Had one MNQ left. So I'm out of that. A total of about 118 bucks. I did that across 6 accounts. So about 600 bucks. Okay? And that was trading about 2 MNQ. But in and out of a position. So built, sold, built, sold, built, sold, built, waited. I missed this, but then I sold one here, and then I sold the remainder up here. About 100 bucks. Not bad. So if we can hold this daily VWAP, there's definitely opportunity here still. We can come right back into SPY, right? We came right back into its daily implied move. After what? After coming back into the prior resistance. Prior resistance becomes potential support. It did. It held as support. Now, if we want to continue this move, where would be that next level of interest? It'd be that level, that month-to-date implied move, and be mindful that it's Thursday, and we haven't really gone anywhere for the trading week. We're slightly up thanks to the earnings, right? Slightly up. This is where last week started or closed, and we're right here. right? Slightly up. You, if you streamed. All right, so let's take a look back here at market net flow. Still a bullish flow, but I just want to call out here too that the red line has been kind of going up, and the green line has actually kind of been going flat line to down. We do have a convergence, so price of SPY is moving with market net flow. That is bullish, but I would say pay attention to that. That's a little interesting. So I'm gonna just kind of wait it off, maybe see if NQ can pull back, set back up again. But I think it was smart for me to exit. If I pull, yep, there you go. So a little pullback right back into daily VWAP. We'll see if it can hold or if it wants to break through. I'm not really interested yet to kind of go for it. I'd rather just give it some more time, to be quite honest. I wouldn't even mind if we got way back up here and started doodling around and then maybe look for a reentry. But right now I'm just kind of I'll postpone on my trading for a second, and we'll look at some individual names and so forth. And I'll just try to keep this on another screen here and keep an eye on it. Hey, Blubber Test, I appreciate you saying that. Yeah, if you haven't done so already, that would be great if you can like the stream, share the stream, or even hit the share button, because I think that does something. I don't know for sure, but people have said that in the past. All right. That's greatly appreciated. We got about 191 concurrent viewers. Got about 52 likes now. Your TOS VWAP does not match mine. Yeah, Thinkorswim does their VWAPs a little bit differently. Which for what product? Disney, by the way, is trying to bounce from this. Hey, love set match. Good to see you. Good seeing you here. Thanks. Thanks, Joe. Appreciate that. You took the SPX bounce, love set. Nice. Nice. Yeah, it was a nice little move here from 6,400. That's why it's so important to just look at those levels. See, now the thing is with levels, right? So, like for example, this level, right? We bounced from it, right? Prior resistance, and actually this 638 was actually a gamma level yesterday, which was talked about kind of on the Discord. I said 638 would be a level of interest, and or maybe it wasn't the other day. I can't remember when it was. Maybe it was the day prior. I can't remember. But 638 was a level of interest from a gamma perspective. But today, not really. It wasn't, at least from what I saw. But it did act as that. Now, a lot of people, most traders will look at just support and resistance based off of history. But if you can add confluence with actually where traders are gathered, where concentration is, it can make for a very potent. Then you at least know more certain that, hey, this is actually where people are congregating at, and you could actually have a real level of supportive price action here, or the way that dealers are going to hedge is going to act dramatically different if we actually break through that or push back through it. So I think it's a critical thing, and a lot of live traders, I mean, the real good ones obviously have all these gamma levels and all that stuff right there, and they can explain it like they're the smartest nerds in the world. I don't think you necessarily need to geek out too much other than just kind of understanding, hey, it's a big level, it's probably an area of focus, and put it on your screen, right? And then it could act as a potential resistance, potential support, and right, even act as a pin in some cases. So yeah, incredibly useful tools. It's not just a random level on the screen. And I try to be a little bit more quantitative in the approach so people understand probabilities and a quant approach versus just traditional technical analysis. Because technical analysis, it's not to predict, it's to help manage risk, really, and forecast. But this is like the forward-looking tool, the best forward-looking tool, in my opinion, and the best forward-looking indicator of risk. And that's one of the only things that we can control in this market is risk. And if you're not looking at expected moves, how do you know what the market's pricing in for risk? And if you're just guessing or making the guess or not even understanding in the slightest, Well, then how are you going to, like, you're operating at a huge deficiency or a huge disadvantage. And that's, in the last video that I made, I was talking about, hedge funds don't want you to know this. And by the way, there's not a single hedge fund that wouldn't look at an expected move. I guarantee you that. They're all looking at that. They're all looking in the options chain. This is something that most retail traders do not do. The vast majority of retail traders, they'll never look at gamma exposure levels. They don't know what the gamma flip line is. They don't know, the dynamics of dealer hedging, at least what happens when you're under your negative gamma, positive gamma, and so forth. And then they definitely don't look at expected moves. So hopefully this approach kind of gives a little bit more of like a, it's, and then one thing that I want to add is a lot of people say they don't work. I promise you, it's math. It's working. The math works. The maths. Okay. What doesn't work is the strategy or your approach, right? So that's the only thing that won't work. These levels aren't to say, hey, we're going to hit resistance here, or hey, it's going to bounce. It's probabilities. So if you're an options trader, you can create different strategies around expected moves. And another thing to pay attention to that most people don't is when price action does get tight and volatility comes in, expected moves, they contract. And then if you understand that element and you're trying to place an options trade and you know that there's an expansion on the way because that's what markets do, you may be able to go outside of expectations of the market and hit much bigger winners because if the market is incorrect, but you're correct, you're hitting through those deviations, and those are those big payouts. Hope that makes sense. Okay. Went on a little bit of a tangent there. Sorry about that. Feeling it, I'm just feeling it. Let's go back over to NQ, see what's going on here. Market net flow is still bullish, but it came in a little bit. Whatever. We're holding the daily VWAP, so kind of flagging out here. I guess if you're looking at 30-second time frame, remember 30 seconds, right? Anybody looks at 30 seconds is crazy. Anybody that looks at 1 minute is crazy, right? You look at the larger time frames if you want less volatility. The only reason why I have the 30-second up is because sometimes on the big kind of candles, I can see the shorter term ATR expansion, the range, and I like to sometimes just fade in and out of that. That's it. That's all. But then I usually use it in confluence with other key levels. So, but like I said, if this was like a big move for you on a 30-second time frame, I would zoom out. Definitely zoom out, or use micros. Don't use, because this right here, if I was trading 2 NQs, yeah, I probably would have that was kind of where was that from? That was a 652 to 6 we'll just call it about 50-point move. It's not, but it's about a 50-point move. Yeah, that'd be pretty scary, right? With 2 full NQs, that's 20 MNQs when I was trading 2. All right, so the way that I got paid out at Tradeify during their sim funded and making it, getting to 80K is because I started so small with like 1 to 2 MNQs, and I traded for 40 freaking days, 40 trading days of slow, methodical, boring. However, I will note one thing is a big difference. So has everybody watched the video that I posted about the trading strategy? Just comment number 1 if you've seen it. The tick where I use the tick. Just comment the number 1 if you've seen it. Thanks, Blubber. Thanks, Oscar. So if you've seen that, you can just comment. If you've seen that video, right now it looks like it's gonna get ready to retest the opening range, but we're still below it. So just be aware we're below opening range. Okay. Okay. So a lot of people have seen it. Awesome. Thanks, John. Thanks, Josh. Thanks, Dylan. Thanks, Wolf Banner. Thanks, Rich. Thanks, JC. Stinky Man. Yeah. Okay. So a lot of people saw that. Now, I want to be there was a very important part of that video that unfortunately, if you didn't pay attention to that, you're probably struggling with the strategy and forcing trades. Okay. The part of the video that I mentioned for that specific strategy was about market conditions. And I talk about it on my market briefs. And the reason why it's so important is because the strategy still works in this environment, but you get significantly less amount of action. It's kind of flagging out here. This is looking pretty decent. Let me look back at market net flow. It's still looking good. No, I'm going to just talk. I'm just going to talk. I'll let it do its thing right here. The important aspect that I wanted to get into is the context of market conditions. And if I look at a time series of net gamma, the times that I was trading was basically this window here, right? I started in like March. I started basically in this window over here or something like that. So see all this right here? My first 40 days or so. My first 40 days, I was getting so many opportunities, but I was trading small. And the reason why I was getting much opportunities is because we were in negative gamma. Now, when you're in negative gamma, understand that, okay, this is why it's so important, and it's going to go past people. So hope you pay attention to this part or watch the video again. But when you're in negative gamma, dealers, they'll sell into the selling, right? And then they'll buy into buying. So you get two-way price action, but you get much more dramatic moves. Much more dramatic moves because volatility increases, right? If I go back to the VIX chart, you see, okay, this was that area that I highlighted. You see this gray area? What's VIX doing? I knew that the volatility could increase back over here. Why did I know that? Because we slipped under the gamma flip line, so the probability of VIX rising increases dramatically. Okay? Same thing back over there, right? All these little gray boxes are when we slipped under the gamma flip line. So when you slip under the gamma flip line, give me a second here. When you slip under the gamma flip line, like I said, the dynamics of dealer hedging changes dramatically. You can see volatility increased, volatility increased, right? And we've been what? We've been positive gamma. What's volatility been doing since we've been above the flip line? Going down, right? So why is that important? Well, because in the tick strategy, if you're in a positive volatility environment or positive gamma flip line, what you'll see is dealers sell the rip, buy the dip, volatility decreases, liquidity increases. These are great environment for swing trading, but for day trading, the dynamic definitely changes. Definitely. So you have to change your approach. And if you're trading tick strategy, you're basically going days, with maybe one opportunity, two opportunities here and there, maybe not even an opportunity in a full trading session. So I would say just be aware of that, because when we're back under the gamma flip line, when we're back in a negative gamma, you will see more extensive tick readings, because that's just the dynamics of hedging. That's the dynamics of the market. Conditions change when that happens. So the reason, once again, why I bring that up is because if you're like, dude, we never get 1,000 readings, I have to wait here all day for it. Yeah, set alerts. Maybe Trump will bring out some news, or we'll get some sort of Fed announcement that creates a bunch of them, okay? And then volatility will increase and opportunities will show up. But till then, if you're going to be forcing trades, make sure that you're looking at the other tools. Like, hey, what's market net flow doing? What are the gamma levels look like? Oh, 6,400? Hey, day done, right? You can be over, you can be done with, you can go enjoy your day, go back to work, go outside, go on a walk, go to the park with a kid, do whatever you got to do, and just step away after that point. And you can set an alert for if you get a certain tick reading. But for me, because I like to trade not just tick readings. Like, for example, I like to fade even these type of moves here. What would I just do? But what is the, hey, what's the tick? What's the, oh my gosh. What is the, there we go. I like to trade other than that, but make sure that you have the strategy in place. And then if you're approaching it like this, that you don't really have a good idea of what your win rate is on these type of moves, trade smaller, right? Do the smaller MNQs and then if the opportunity arises with these tick readings, you get a higher win rate, okay? A higher win rate on extended tick readings, but you might be able to trade a little bit more size if that were to actually occur. So for me, I like to build a little buffer, like, right? I got about $100 here across 6 accounts. And if all of a sudden a tick reading came in, I'll go harder, and I'm okay with losing $100, right? Or going it against me. because I know that a tick reading strategy has a higher win rate, and I'm okay to have a losing trade on a tick trade because over the course of time, if it is right, it'll take that $100 and it'll turn into $400 or $500 in some cases, maybe even more depending on my sizing. All right. You like the explanations? Trying to learn as an old timer. Nice, Rich. So as far as determining the Gamma flip line, I do post it in the Discord every day. But I like Gamma Lab. This is a somewhat newer company that that supplies me with it, and it's $15 a month. But they give you all types of data, right? So $15 a month, and you can pull your Gamma flip line. There it is, right there, 6324. Okay. And it'll update, right? They'll give you even a time series of the Gamma flip line. So this is what the Gamma flip line looks like throughout since April of 2025. It's been going higher. The Gamma flip line's been moving up higher because, well, the S&P 500 has been moving up higher, right? So you can see where it's come from. Because on my screens, right, you see the Gamma flip line down here. Right, there it is. But what you don't notice here is like that it's been moving up in a straight line, right? So that's only $15. My Discord right now is $9. But by the way, I am going to be increasing prices. I haven't decided exactly when. It might be, and I think I'm going to give it a little bit more time because I haven't made the full announcement, I don't think, on that. So I want to give people the ability to just come in for the grandfather into the correct. I'm not going to lift it a lot, by the way. It's not going to be a huge increase. It's still going to be a crazy value. But right now it is only $9 a month. And I'm running like some updates on my AsherBot. And then I use a lot of different services to supply a lot of the data, and I do a lot of stuff, and the expenses for running this Discord and giving all these tools and stuff, it's pretty darn high, like pretty dang crazy. So I need more users in order to make it make sense and keep on developing or increase the price on new ones. That's pretty much the only way I can really kind of do it. Yeah, it's like crazy. Like it's over a mortgage every month for definitely over my mortgage of how much I spend every month on just various tools that I use to get the data, to execute the data, to develop it, and so forth. So, okay, $500 a month. I spend way more than $500 a month on tools here. Yeah, way more. The price is not going to be. I'm not going to charge $500. I'm not going to charge $100 or $200. I'm still surprised that a lot of people in Discord, they charge like $200 a month, and I know for a fact they probably got less than what I offer here. Maybe they do live streams or something like that, or something. I don't know. Or maybe it's an alert service. It's not an alert. What I have is not an alert service, but I do take the majority of all my trades that I post in trade ideas. Was the Trady Ticks query to get this is 60? What is the Trady Ticks query to get that 6400 level? I'm not too sure what you mean by that. Hey, what's up, Palm Tree? Hey, thanks, Barkster. Barkster, are you in Hawaii? Are the islands? Hopefully everything's all good over there. My family is out there in Maui, and the whole tsunami warnings came. Kind of freaky, but it seemed like everything was okay, right? I don't know about all the islands, but it seems like it was they took the proper precautions from what I understood, and everything turned out okay. Or was there something, because I couldn't find any. Almost couldn't find any news. I was trying to log into cameras out there and watch it to make sure everything's all right, and yeah. I'm glad everything's okay, because that was freaky, man. That was really freaky. That doesn't happen often, does it? The sirens going off and stuff like that. That can't be like a monthly occurrence. That's probably like what? That's probably pretty rare. What? One every 5 years? One every 10 years, maybe? Or is it or is it more frequently than that? Hey, thanks, Kevin. Thank you, Kevin. Appreciate that. AJ, they have way less. Ibrahim, I'm sorry if I'm doing that incorrectly, but I'm not 100% sure what you mean by the 6,400 level. Are you talking about like the gamma flip line? If you're talking about the gamma flip line in the query channel, there is a code to do that with Tradie Ticks, but I don't use Tradie Ticks gamma flip line. I post it in the day trading channel in the morning from Gamma Lab. Which, by the way, I did mention Gamma Lab. I think that my code is still active. I haven't checked in with that guy for a little while. But if you do Gamma Lab, you can get 50% off the first month, which is using MSD50 promo code. So you get 50%. So it's like $8 or $7 or whatever for the first month. $8.7 magnitude, yeah. Infrequent but increasing. Well, that's not fun. Well, glad it turned into nothing, especially after that big of an earthquake. That thing was freaking massive. Have I tried order flow? I haven't, Adrian. I'm open to check out new stuff. Somebody from the Discord over here, Trader Alpha, uses Spot Gamma and posts a lot of charts in there, which is really cool. I like Spot Gamma. I think Spot Gamma has some great stuff. Every 5 to 10 years, Tsunami Maui. 5 to 10 years, okay. All right, NQ kind of breaking down through this. It was looking, like I said, it was looking good. I'm glad that I just kind of stepped aside. Kind of getting a little sell side. See the range of these candles kind of expanding here? This is what really gets on my radar over here when I start to see these candles get a little bit wider, a little bit faster moves, because remember, contraction leads to expansion, and then on strong moves, you could typically get bounce backs. I would like to see, a big tick reading, which that's just not the case here. All right. But if we were to come into like the 800s to 1,000, yeah, maybe I'd look to do that, to play that bounce. We're not there yet, so I just kind of step aside, right? It's not like a great setup, so I'm not really forcing anything here. Somebody said, look at Dash. Yeah, Dash doing up 1% on the day here. Dash is doing pretty good. You have earnings right around the corner here. But overall, yeah. DoorDash. You know what they got to do? More ghost kitchens. They got to figure out some legal way to do that properly where people can like have more ghost kitchens and cook like special meals and stuff. Wouldn't it be kind of cool? Like, there's so many different health concerns and stuff like that, but maybe there's a way to like route it and make it more safer. But like, imagine just like, Tom and Jill, like in the neighborhood, makes really good, I don't know, cookies, right? And you can go on this app, like kind of like a DoorDash or whatever, or like a whatever, and you can order their cookies, via like kind of like a ghost kitchen sort of ordeal. Kind of cool. The only thing is you need there's all these health restrictions and like you don't necessarily know. But then you get like peer reviews and stuff like that, and I don't know how that would work, but it would be kind of cool though. It would open up opportunities for like people that are good chefs or cooks or can't open up a full kitchen, or maybe just like now I'm just randomly thinking, but okay, so how like salons, right? There's salons all over the place. I know this because I've been part of the salon industry for my entire life. My family we've had salons. They've been in a salon. I grew up in a salon. Now we have one in Sacramento, right? Like it's been, my whole life been surrounded by salons. I don't know what it is. So salons, like they started a new company called like Sola Salon, right? Which they open up like a big piece of real estate, and then they put little tiny salons within that big piece of real estate. So there's a bunch of different salons within one building, and then they rent out the space. So they do that. But wouldn't it be cool if you just build out like, now this would be really expensive because salons are a lot less expensive than a full-blown kitchen, but you buy out warehouse space and you build little kitchens and you rent out ghost kitchens for like restaurants, and then they could do DoorDash or do whatever, and rent out kitchen space to maybe home chefs or meal preppers and stuff like that. World open up opportunities for neighbors to poison you. Yeah, I mean, that's where you need some sort of a health sort of something, right? I don't know how that would work. I'm not in that industry, but it would be kind of cool. Like imagine that, because being able to rent a ghost kitchen and you would be less overhead. You'd still be able to like cook, but you wouldn't need to open up a restaurant. You know what I'm saying? Like if you're a chef and you want to open up a restaurant, the overhead costs and the margins, it just doesn't make sense most of the time for a lot of people at least. And the startup costs, especially when your competition's crazy. But if you can just rent a ghost kitchen for a couple of days a week or even monthly or whatever the case may be, and you can make something popular out of a ghost kitchen, that'd be kind of cool. And by ghost kitchen, I just mean like, you know, what do I mean by that? I don't know. It's a term, I think. It's I don't know. What do I mean by that? Like you can't go to the restaurant. They just cook out of there, and maybe delivers come from there or something like that, right? I don't know. Do I do real estate investment? No, not really. I haven't done really any real estate investment. That's kind of more my brother's lane. They've done a lot of kind of real estate investing, right? From owning out of state, multifamily properties. He's been in the real estate industry for quite some time, so he does that. He helps me with all my stuff that I do with my real estate, but that's like, I just say, this is what I want to do, and then he does it for me. Foods Inc. soon. I'm open to the idea of real estate. Yeah, I like it. It's just, and my brother talks about it frequently too. And a lot of wealth can be built in that. I never really did it. It's a lot slower pace for me, which I'm actually kind of a fan of. But some of the ones that I looked at, I'm like, dang, if one thing goes wrong, I can be stuck in this. And I don't it. It's almost like I need the extra, I want the side money and extra money to the side. And then okay, now I have all this extra, money. I'm fine with doing something with this, in real estate. But I don't want to put myself in a position where if something were to happen, it's gonna create kind of anxiety or anything in my life that I'm gonna be like, oh man, and worry about it. You know what I'm saying? I probably would be fine for the most part if I extend myself and get, just go and buy another property. I mean, right now it's kind of pricey out where I live. I can, whatever. But I don't want to put myself in a position where it's takes my time for 3% a year or something unless if just I have the extra money and I want to protect that maybe small investment and then I can turn into something over the course of time. So yeah, I'm open to it. I'm definitely open to it. I have nothing against that. That's for sure. The first house that I bought, I don't think that I could have timed it any better, right? And I'm not going to let this skew my thoughts on the housing industry, but understand that the first house I bought with my own money. So first off, I was looking in 2009 for a home, or 2010. That was when I was looking originally, and the financial crisis scared the living heck out of me. So understand that when I was finally in the realm of being able to maybe do something, it was coming out of a financial crisis. So that's where my head is at, right? I'm that's puts you at a permanent mindset of just scaredness because everyone around me lost everything that they had. But then again, prior to that, I was seeing it all with very clear and clear vision. I was like, how is this dude from T-Mobile own 2 homes? Right? How do you, I'm I just wondering, and then how did they have a new boat? How did they just design their backyard and do all this? And I don't know necessarily how much it cost back then to do it, but everyone was had a boat in their front yard, had nice things and crazy homes, and everyone was doing it. And to me, that made 0 sense. So I decided not to do it then, right? Not that I had necessarily the money, but I definitely could have probably done it then. And then I was all right, coming out of the financial crisis, which I didn't even really quite grasp that we're coming out of it, but that's when I started investing at the very freaking bottom. Go figure. That's when my career actually started, real career actually started. So I started investing in very unrealistic expectations of investments. It was every time that I put it in, all of a sudden my payouts were just gigantic. Every month my 401k was growing I couldn't even it was crazy. It was crazy how fast it grew because it was coming out of a bottom. Right? It was nuts. And then I was like, man, I got all this cash. I was finding like crazy deals of like homes. Like you can buy an apartment. It was like if you had 30,000 cash, like in a decent area, 30,000 cash, you can buy a 2-bedroom, 2-bath apartment. I was like, this would be a great rental. But I was like, no, I don't want to risk my money. Crazy to think about that now. But my first house that I bought was in 2018, which felt like it was expensive, but then we went through the pandemic, right? So my rate started off at like 4.75. Then we went through the pandemic. My rate was lowered to 2.3 or something like that. And the price of my home went up like 35+% in the matter of a couple of years. It was stupid. And then I was like, we knew that we weren't going to live there forever, right? And we were like, all right, let's find our forever home, right? We didn't want to live where we were living. We wanted to come more closer to family. And as soon as the home opened up, right now, by the way, I'm looking at the markets, not much going on. That's why I'm just kind of talking. Okay, ticks, not doing much, floating around in NQ. I haven't traded since this initial bounce over here, and I basically sold it right here. The final MNQ. We're below daily VWAP, below opening range. But yeah, so we were like, all right, let's start looking. And then, of course, you know, you're on Zillow or you're on Redfin and you're looking at these phone things. And my brother's sending me MLS listings. And the only ones that my wife is looking at are ones that clearly are out of reach. All right. We're looking at like multi-million-dollar homes. And we're like, I don't like their bathtub. Like, okay, relax. We're not getting that. Because I always tell her, I was like, I don't want to get myself into a situation where I want to be able to enjoy my home. I don't want to have to be worried constantly. So needless to say, we got an expensive home and I kind of worry constantly. No, I'm just kidding. I said, if we're going to buy an expensive home, we got to save up like crazy. So I traded away and I saved up as much as I could. My wife worked her butt off, crazy worked off. And we saved up a 50% down payment on this home. So we moved in, put 50% down in, which is still crazy. But yeah, we paid off half, given the context, because interest rates were pretty high. And our mortgage is still like $3,500 a month. It's great. It's freaking great, dude. But I will say, you build back your savings. So, you know, and we've got a house that we love. And yeah, I sold. But part of the down payment came from the sale of my other prior house, which I would have loved to keep that house, but we went above our means here, pretty much, right? Being honest, like it was, we don't need this house. Like there's 4 rooms in our house that aren't even used. All right, not 4, but you get my point. Like there's too many rooms. Like we have a bathroom that's not even touched. We have basically 2 bathrooms that aren't even touched, and a bedroom, right? And a nook, and like it's amazing here. Like we can play hide and seek in here. It's too big. It's not that big. I'm not talking a mansion here. I'm not talking a mansion. I'm talking just 2. It's big for 2 adults, so we can grow into it. We can grow into the house. Yeah, save time, our current home. So keeping it. Oh, you're trying to do the same for your new home? But we have a new home we bought for $213 now, worth $5 at $275 rate. Yeah, man. Yeah, save time, see it. Yeah, keep it. Yeah, that's great. See, I would have loved to keep my home generator because it would have been it was like the perfect rental. It was so perfect, and there was like nothing on the what's it called, but. It's like, yeah, like we wanted to move in, and I was like, all right, well, the only way that we're going to make this work here, and she agreed to it, was like, okay, if we want to get this home, we got to sell this off and then roll it into the other one. And luckily we bought it in 2018, and all of a sudden it went up in price significantly, right? If it didn't, we probably would have kept the house. And then we used that into here, and we said, now we save up again, and we'll invest in a different property. When the time comes, or when the opportunity shows itself, we'll do that. We'll do it differently. And I said, all right, whatever. We're still young. We'll do it. So, need space for the 15 adopted children. I don't have a pool. Well, okay. Hold on. Let me see if I can pull it up. Give me a second here. My wife is texting me. Give me a second here. Photo. Come on now. All right, NQ kind of slipping off here into the sunset, near lows of the trading session today. We're still holding that 6,400. Let's take a quick look here at 1 DTE levels, see if anything's changed, which I doubt it did. Yeah, 6,400 still kind of that pin level. NQ coming off. Let's see if we can maybe get, no reading on tick. That's extravagant, so I don't really care about what's going on right at this moment. Although that is a pretty nice move here. So we are coming down here. Maybe a little undercut, pop back up. That'd be kind of cool. I would see, like, this to me, I like these opportunities here for little bounces, but I would have just preferred it with a very frothy tick reading. So maybe if we can undercut this and get, like, all of a sudden a blowout tick reading, which I doubt, but hey, if it happens, I'll be much more happier with that. Give me a second here. Aha. There it is. So we don't have a pool yet, but like I said, all those profits from Tradeify, we've spent it. It's spent. There it is. We got the hole dug, our little backyard. We got the rebar in, and we got gunite coming, and I got to pay a second installment today. You got a 1-month-old boy? You want 3 kids? Eventually we need to expand. Yeah, for sure. Wait, for what's the question generator on the 100K? I don't know what that is for. This didn't cost 100K, but our whole backyard is going to cost north of that. Yeah, more than that. The pool itself was like 60, which, by the way, our original quote was like 80. Okay, so no, I take that back. It's about 80, but not the original pool was 80. But when we went through somebody else, it was about 80 for the concrete all along the backside. We have 2 pads over here with a fireplace, and then we have gas, water, stuff lit over here, and then, like I said, another custom pad over here with a custom built fireplace. And then we're doing turf, we're doing landscaping, trees. We got a lot going on. Yeah, we're trying to do the entire backyard. Yeah, it's not cheap. But I mean, that's the thing, is I told my wife, I was like, dude, the only reason we're doing all of this right now is if I can, just get the extra income come from somewhere. And then I used Tradeify to pull those profits to do that. So, thanks to the prop firm industry, and just taking it slow, and just, there was that small little undercut there. Still, even, I would like to see it actually break and maybe get a reading. Maybe perhaps it might occur, but it might have to occur under 6,400 on SPX. Because right now it's just testing these lows here. Once again, not interested to trade this. We got to trade off in the morning, the early morning trade here. Barkster. Yeah, generator. It's not cheap, but what am I supposed to do? Do it myself? I've shopped around. I went to a bunch of different people. I went from high end, I went low end, I went medium end. I got all kinds of quotes, and I went with the people that pretty much the most afforded the most, but they a smaller company, and yeah, just I don't know, what am I supposed to do? Just have a dirt plot? I personally, I didn't want the pool because I get scared. I get scared of 2 stories with kids, and then I get scared of a pool with kids. But, what are you going to do when you have a wife that wants a 2-story home and a pool? Are you really going to just want to put up that fight every single day? Or do you just want to figure a way out and to make it happen? She even said we don't need to do the pool, but maybe in 5 years we can do it. And I was like, dude, I'm not doing the whole entire backyard just so 5 years later we're going to tear it all up to put a pool in. So I was like, I said, give me some time and let me see if I can just pull in some extra cash. And that's what I did, and got lucky, right? With Tradeify. I legitimately, and I had to pay taxes on all that money, but I don't care. Who cares, right? I'm gonna have to pay 30, 40% of taxes on that. Whatever, it's extra money. Okay. But that's really that's what kicked off the project. So that's a nice discount to me, in my opinion. And it doesn't take from our savings, which is nice because I didn't want to take house equity because we made a big down payment for a reason, not to use the equity, and I didn't want to rip through our savings, and I definitely didn't want to take from any retirement account that I don't like to touch, and I did not want to feel strapped trading because I didn't want to do that. I like making a couple $100 here, a couple $100 there. Right? I didn't want to feel strapped. So, just goes to show you, I mean, hey, if you do one of these straight to funding accounts or whatever you choose, and you can make some really good money really quickly, but just do it really slow and methodically. Like they paid me, like I got real money from them. That's why we're doing this. And you can too, right? I showed you a strategy that works, not in these conditions all that much. Well, I mean, it works, but you get far less. But man, when the conditions open up, you can take advantage of it. Just don't go overboard. Just be happy with the $50 a day and just do that for like a long time. And then all of a sudden when you get your first payout, you'll be like, your mind all of a sudden opens up. Like it's crazy the feeling that you get when all of a sudden you get the payout from this little thing. Because like I'm so used to just trading my live accounts, my real money, and going slow and methodically, right? And to like patience. And then all of a sudden, like I'm like, oh, I'm just gonna do that over here. And I'm like, whoa. Like you get your first payout and you're like, oh my God, this is actually real. Like this actually like is in my bank account right now but it was like, I'm trading like a fake account. Like it just doesn't make sense to me, but it does because I mean, the reason why they do this is because most people fail. So if you trade small, trade a big account, but trade small, go very slow and methodically, get the first payout. And once you see that actually hit your bank, your whole mindset changes. I promise you that. You'd be like, whoa, it's actually real. Now I can do it again, right? Yeah, Stinky Man, always happy with a $50 a day. Because in reality, like people lose track of like actually what money is, right? And especially when it's numbers on the screen. It's like at a blackjack table with like a red chip. Oh, I got 3 chips or 5 chips or whatever, but they're just, $5 bills or $25 bills or shit. I was in pardon my French, I was in Atlantis and I saw somebody with pink chips stacked up and it was a $100 table and it was $500 chips and it was just stacked, like had to have been $30, $40, $50,000. I'm like, bro, like I get it. You probably loaded, but whoa, whoa, let me talk to you about trading, sir. You got way better odds than blackjack. And I know your butt ain't counting cards. And even if you were, you only get a slight edge. And yes, I know how to do high-low counting. It is not difficult. All right, we're coming down a little bit here. Still at lows of the day. So there's a new low for the day. Still nothing on tick. So that means we're getting rotations into other stuff like utilities, once again, pulling up to its upper eyeball range. Tech is still holding up, but it's coming down, okay? Energy, right? Energy outperforming. We need everything to kind of get crushed here in order to get an extended tick reading. Other than that, right, it's just tech. So we'll probably see a back through trade, but like I said, I would prefer to execute into it on a little bit more extension. We are coming back to 6,400, right about there. So this is where opportunities open back up again. But like, I'm not interested in shorting this, and I'm not really interested in going long right here. All right, we'll look at some individual names here soon, but generated, the firm that I use was Tradeify. That is I used Top Step, and I promoted them for like a day, and I think that they're still good, but I don't like that they're just on Project X. I like Tradeivate. It just Project X, the DOM feels clunky to me. So maybe I got to get used to it some more, but I think that they're good. Obviously they've been around really long. Do I got a referral link? So for Tradeivate, it's just, use the code FOM. You get the best discount. Actually, I think that they got 50% off going on right now. So if you I did straight to funding on Tradeify. So you just go right into a funded account. You follow their rules. You follow their consistency. And go slow, dude. But yeah, ticker FOM. Thanks to everybody who uses the code FOM when they do that. That helped. I mean, that made me want to put out some more of that content. Like if you like those type of videos, because that actually is supportive just by using the code. And it, you know, if I do more of that, like I can put out more of that type of content. Because it took me like you know, a day or so to put that all together. It's a little bit longer, and then they pulled my video down and blocked it for who knows what reason. And then I had to redo it, the intro and all this stuff, and it was kind of a pain in the butt. So the Tradeify is the one that I do, but then you pick Tradeivate. So just remember, so Tradeify is the company, Tradeivate is the broker that they sync with, but you have to also do a data feed with Tradeivate, which is like $9 or $10 a month. So there's that too. So you got to keep that in mind. There's some prop firms that you don't need to pay for a data feed. All right, here we go. Let's see here if we can get a little action. Come on now. Let's sink off into the sunset, people. Let's go. Let's go SpongeBob. Let's go Pineapple. Let's go. Hit me hard. Hit me hard right in the face. Here we go. Let's go under the sea. Come on. Alert me. All right, I'm going to pull up my chat room. I'll listen to TOS, see if there's any news that hits the tape. It's a whole minus 350 tick reading. Woohoo. Come on. We need everything to just sink off. I should probably check my other accounts, actually, now think of it. I did not do that. Probably be a good idea to check in on everything, right? That was pretty stupid of me, actually. I haven't even looked at them today. Yeah, I definitely should have looked into this. Oops. That's not fun. Not a good day there. But not a bad day, so I guess I'm okay. Guess I should have paid more attention. That's what I get. Let me go back. Come on, log in. Do. Hey! Got 93 likes here. Thanks for everyone tuning in. Got about 200 viewers out on YouTube. Got a few on Twitch. Somebody. Yeah, I like the minus 1,000, Jill. But, you know, given today's day, we need some sort of news to break in order to get it, I think. Unless if just everything just wants to take a nosedive for whatever reason. So I might look at like even the 800s for a fade. Just, you know, nothing too crazy, but maybe something quick. Damn, dude. Yeah, what is going on in these portfolios today? Should have been paying attention. All right. I guess it's not that bad. What am I worried about? Nothing. Okay. Give it some more time. I'm in a pineapple under the sea right now, my swing trading account. Market net flow. The red line's still been creeping. So this is something that we've been saying earlier, right? We talked about, hey, this is kind of interesting. You want to watch this. The red line's going up and the green line's kind of coming down. We've had positive market net flow and convergence, but the fact that we've seen the red line go up, you know, makes me care less about convergence at the moment. And then this green line going down has been, you know, kind of interesting since earlier when we talked about it. And you can see here NQ coming off and we're at that 6,400. We're kind of in that area. So if we can just get a flush through 6,400 and maybe that extended tick reading and then maybe play it back up through to 6,400 or around there, that'd be cool. But right now, what am I seeing? NQ is kind of this subtle, like kind of trend line. Like, do you notice this trend here on NQ? Maybe you can kind of play, back through on this. Kind of just like, it's a pretty steady trend of NQ, even going through here, right? So maybe through this, and then that's like the day, or maybe we come in and then break through this kind of steeper trend line for this session. Maybe retest daily VWAP and try to get back through it and come back in, which is a possibility because we do have earnings, right, with some of the bigger names. And sometimes on days like this, you just come back into the opening range or trade around it. I think that that's possible. But like I said, if I'm going to try to buy the dip, I kind of want to see some sort of capitulatory move, right? And we just haven't had that yet. This is our lowest tick reading of the day, or almost, just about. I guess it is our lowest tick reading in the basically when I start using it. I don't really trade it the first 15 minutes. I don't use ticks at the first 15 minutes. So that'd be the lower tick reading there of the day. NQ is still coming off here. This. Here we go. Okay, so we're through 6,400. That was a pretty big move. Oh, God, man, but tick is just not coming off. Give me something. This is where the patience pays out, or you just deal with more chop. Okay. Hey, what's up, Doppler? Good morning. Copper leap spreads. I'm probably not the best guy to ask Tribor on the leap spreads, but I mean we could take a look at copper. It is a pretty wild move. So if the position makes sense, if it's a good cost, I can see the context of a strong move being followed through. Like a bounce back, because you get strong moves to the downside. They'll typically follow big moves to the upside as well. That's what volatility does. But that was that's crazy. That was a crazy move. What if I use tick for Nasdaq? Some people do. I just like NYSE, right? So the Nasdaq tick, I got to double check it, but I'm pretty sure the Nasdaq tick is for the Nasdaq composite, not the Nasdaq 100, which is still a broad index. So I'm sure that'd be fine too. I just use the NYSE. I don't know. I got used to it. That was the original one, but there's a tick chart for just about everything. Well, just about all these American indexes. So we're about at that area where we, coming out of a strong move like this, I wouldn't be shocked to see 6,400 retested, by the way. If we look at market net flow, let's take a quick look here. Okay, we did lose convergence. The green line's coming off. Okay, that's more kind of a bearish sign. 635 to the downside on SPY could be somewhat of a level of interest if price were to make it down there. It's a pretty strong move. 639 is the kind of... that's back up a daily implied move. That's where the magnet's at right now, at least. 641. Let me see just by strike and see where that 632. Oh, okay. I don't know about all that. 632 would be way down here. That'd be a big move, man. If that came into play here, for some reason we get some crazy sell side, I'll definitely trade 632. But that's not the case right now. Still watching, still waiting, still lurking. By the way, the more time you get in with NQ, you'll notice things that you don't just do extreme tick readings, but you can do squeezes too, to the downside and upside. Like if it just trades down here like this, and you have negative market net flow, oh, you better be fading those bounces. Or if it comes up here and just trades up in here and you have positive net flow, oh man, get ready for some squeezes. It's pretty powerful stuff. You'll learn a lot by just putting in hours. Just watching the tick chart and watching how the market responds and reacts to certain stuff. Looking for the market to prove itself before buying anything. We're in the pineapple, I forgot, but rightfully so. Let me go back to my tiny cam. So the SPY flip line, I can share that with you, but I really do not care about the SPY gamma flip line. I care about the big product, which is the SPX, and that right now is at 63.24. But since you asked, I'll show you. The SPY flip line is at 637. Okay? Which, once again, I focus more on the SPX But that's not to deter you from using the other product. Because, hey, if you find a strategy that works utilizing that, do it. Trust me, right? Do it. That's why I'll typically share it. I share the Qs to some people too. What I use is the SPX. That's what I use. It's the big product, the biggest product out there, you know, the most liquid. Do I swing trade or just day trade? I mainly swing trade, Java. I mainly swing trade, but right now I'm looking at some day trades, and then we can pull up some swing trades too. But my priority has always been swing trading. I'm just kind of focusing on the futures market right now, making trading a little prop firm. I traded in the morning, this little area, made about $100 times 6, so that's good. So we've been trading this lower tick here, but it's not really extended. But just keep in mind, tick hasn't bounced, and this little here could be. If we can get a breakdown, that'd be nice, right? We're just struggling to bounce. So if we do bounce, maybe come back in to test this trend line, and then see if we can get another lower high, or right, if we're just flagging, I'm not gonna short these bear flags at the lows of the day. Lows, I would prefer to see just a quick hit, quick move. And a lower tick reading. And if we can get that, I am totally fine with executing another MNQ contract down there. I'm just not interested in shorting. I'm just not into it right now. Just on my tang. Thoughts on Intel? Intel reported? I actually did do a short in Intel, and I got pretty great execution, but I'm out of that position. It wasn't prior to earnings. It was after the earnings, actually. I sold it at a pretty nice level, and it just, let me pull it up. I'll pull it up. Let me see where it's at now. Intel's coming into its lower eyeball range for the day. So, I mean, if you're looking to buy Intel, maybe 1978-ish, you know, it could be an initial entry. But yeah, overall, it was looking pretty nice here. And then earnings came and it destroyed it. So bearish earnings gap. Now it's kind of selling off a little bit here. So it doesn't look great at all, right? It doesn't. Not now. But this could be a longer term base. Who knows? Like, you know, if this comes back up and starts breaking out, cool. But right now, it's not that great. So if you were looking to be an investor in Intel, I'd be looking at like lower weekly implied moves and maybe, you know, starting to do like build into entries slowly down at those levels, or monthly EMs, right? Give me a second. What am I doing here? No, that's not what I want. Well, yeah, whatever. I got to update it because I messed up the calculation. It always does this to me. I got to build it in. That's not the proper monthly. We're probably by the monthly lower EM right now. My calculation's off on that right now. I have to update it every time. It's such a weird. I messed up the script. I have to update it. All right, back to NQ. You got the ads. Well, you're not mentioning anything right now, Doppler. You got ads while I talked about Intel when you asked for it. Okay. Yeah, we'll pull that back up. Give me a second, y'all. Man, I know if I step away right now, we're gonna get something. Give me a second here. Come on. I can hear my son in the other room, and I want to go say good morning because I've been here, and he woke up at about 40 minutes ago, and I want to go see him. But I know that there's like an opportunity. Like as soon as I step out of this room, something's going to open up. Come on, just break. Here we go. So NQ's slipping off here into the sunset a bit. If you're watching it on another chart here, I want to see this thing just snap a little bit more. I might just enter in an MNQ down here. Just to start it out, and if we can get a bigger reading, I'll go for it.
White House official tells them tariffs.
Oh, we got some tariff news. Okay, give me a second.
Starting 12:01 August 1st for countries without a framework agreement, or for countries that have been assigned tariff rate via a letter or announcement. That's via Edward Lawrence.
Okay. All right. Starting light and adding heavier. Yeah. And then watching key levels, Seaman. What? So I did one MNQ down here.
On the supply front, US set to sell some 73 billion 26-week bills, 4th August, 82 billion
There's an
13
auction,
week,
I think.
4th August,
Let me see here. I should have
85
probably
billion
looked
of
at that.
6-week on the
31
billion of 52-week on the 5th, which will be settling
up?
7th August.
What is going on here?
And just note the Atlanta Fed GDP tracking estimate for Q3.
I've got some auctions, 4-week and 8-week.
2.3%.
Okay. So I have one MNQ on right now. I'm gonna take a quick break here. I gotta go say hi to my family. I'm just gonna leave it on. It's one MNQ. So if I can get a stronger reading to the downside, I'll look into building it. But I'm not really too worried about it at this moment. Just one MNQ. I don't mind stepping away. I'm going to take market net flow. I'm going to put it right here on the screen. You can see that we did see a change in the dynamics of market net flow. Accumulated net premiums of puts have been inclining. Green has been declining, so that is bearish. However, we do not have convergence on this move lower. So you can see counter trend bounces in this. So right now it's kind of just chop, in my opinion, at this current moment. I'm looking for extended tick readings to be adding onto it, or I'm just going to take a loss on a one MNQ contract. Other than that, if it just bounces up, if it decides to bounce up, I'm going to probably try to exit it a little bit later here. If like maybe a daily VWAP or something like that. I'm going to put this down here, and so you'll be able to see on the screen the 6,400 level, which very well can get re-tagged unless we have the door opening up here a little bit more on other names here on 1DTE. But as of right now, we don't really have that going on. So a good bounce area, in my opinion, maybe back to 6,400 on SPX. Okay. Let me put my little screen up here, step away, be right back, and I'll be right back, okay?
And of note, for the issuance sizes in those bills for the 6-week, that's been raised to 85 billion from 80 billion. Just seeing an announcement here from US President Trump on Truth Social. Says, I've just concluded a telephone conversation with Mexican president. Says it was very successful. Mexico is somewhat different from then other nations because of both of the problems and assets of the border. We have agreed to extend for a 90-day period the exact same deal as we had for the last short period of time, namely that Mexico will continue to pay a 25% fentanyl tariff, 25% tariff on cars, and 50% tariff on steel, aluminium, and copper. Additionally, Mexico has agreed to immediately terminate its non-tariff trade barriers, of which there were many. We will be talking to Mexico over the next 90 days with the goal of signing a trade deal somewhere within that 90-day period of time. Present at the meeting were some of US officials. So just summarizing there, Donald Trump saying had a telephone conversation with President Mexico. They do announce that Mexico will continue to pay a 25% fentanyl tariff, 25% tariff on cars, 50% tariff on steel, aluminium, and copper. Mexico has agreed to immediately terminate barriers, of which there are many, and they will be talking to Mexico over the next 90 days, in which they have extended the original agreement for an extra 90 days. in terms of reaction. We did see an initial Mexican peso strength and some upside in Mexican equities.
Yo, all right, we back. All right, what happened? All right, well, at least the market didn't fall apart on me. Holy moly. I don't typically leave my screen when there's a trade on, but figured why not? Why not, dude? Why not, dude? It gets more entertainment. You know, that's what we're here, dude. Just to, you know, entertain and lose money, apparently. All right, let me pull this back up. Okay, so we're coming back into this. So I'm just going to go ahead and reduce that. By the way, I'm just going to exit it. So I just exited my MNQ. That was pretty dang crazy execution. I think that we still can bounce, right, up to the 6,400. But I'd rather see like a higher low and then see how it trades out. But we're kind of pulling back into this lower high trend line. So I'm just not interested in necessarily waiting anything out. But that was pretty nice, right? So basically what we saw was a pretty big extension of, you know, some kind of wider range candles to the downside. Then we get a snapback. And now it's coming in a little bit, right? And it just kind of came into this trend. So we broke from the trend. We kind of came back to whatever you want to call it. And then now we just came off. So, dang, dude, what is up with this timing today? Hey, hello. Crazy. All right. Are we gonna get back into this? Let's break that low now. So this is actually what I like to see. So we're breaking from that. So this clearly, people, is the trend to watch for the day. This like these lower highs, lower lows. All right. $610 seems to be a little bit of a level of contention. Market net flow, right? Still that bearish flow there. SPY coming back into the 5-day moving average. If we can get some more sell side, watch for the week to date volume weighted average price. Because right now we're actually down on the week right now. Okay, let's call a spade a spade. We're basically break even at this point. All right, we're basically break even. Ticks still positive here, slightly. NQ coming slightly off. Wow, I came back in perfect time and that was great. So this trend needs to be broken here. So the only way that I'm entering in again now is if we get some big moves to the downside, like larger range candles is what I mean, or potentially an extended tick reading, or maybe back into like a deeper negative state there. But maybe try to carve out a higher low. And maybe we can break this and then go retest daily VWAP. So that'd be another option there. You know, looking for that, something like that. Not my highest conviction type of trade, especially given the context of all what we're seeing here, but a potential path that I'd be looking for if we don't go lower. Okay. No way we get to 610 today. 610? No, we're not going to 610 today. No way. That's like 20. No, that'd be, okay. So if we go there, I guarantee like something big has happened in the market. Like that's going to make markets in turmoil type news, right? Like think it through here. 20 points in the S&P 500. That's from where we currently stand. Yeah, that's a 4% drop. Yeah, that would be worldwide news to see all of a sudden a 4-5% drop in a single day from where we currently stand, at least. That'd be a big move. Huge move. Now, it's possible that we go to 610 over the course of time, but just today? Unless if like, I don't know, like what would do that? I have no idea. Like what kind of news would have to come out for that? I mean, definitely Apple and Amazon would have to report just the worst ever or the whatever in the market, whatever it reports, the market would just have to be like, get out. 5% would be crazy. It would be weird to get a 4% move in a single day. Yeah. In the S&P 500, we haven't, like in the last 20 plus days, we haven't had a 1% day. You know what I'm saying? Aliens. So to see a single day 4% move in the S&P 500, like I can show you what that might look like. Let me see if I can do it while I'm watching. Oh, here we go. Some extended tick readings finally coming through. Here we go. 700. It's not really extended, but let's see if we can break this low.
A U.S. State Department released full note
and here comes news.
They condemn the growing number of state threats from Iranian intelligence services.
Here comes the news.
It's a joint statement there. Many countries, including the U.S., France, and the U.K.
Of course, it has to happen with some news on the back of it. All right, well, let's go. Come on, a little bit more. I gotta wait it out now with news, unfortunately. But if I'll still do it if it falls under 1,000. Give me 1 MNQ. How about that? Come on, a little bit more here. Come on. Why does it got to be on the back of news? I hate that. But I get it. All right, I'm gonna execute 1 MNQ. And maybe if we can get down there, or if it builds, gets a little bit more crazy, I'll do it. But 1 MNQ could give me some space, because even if we come into break even on the day, I might even because that would be a pretty big move from where we currently stand. But with 1 MNQ, I got some room to play. So I'm not going to add unless if we now go under 1,000 and then go from there. And if it bounces for me, I'll probably exit. Let me see here. I mean, it's probably going to be a quick hit, maybe at the 55, right around there. But honestly, 1 MNQ. Let me see here. The green line's still going down. Yeah, I got to sell the bounce. I feel like 6,400 could still come into play at some point today. I would have loved to see a deeper reading. I'm just gonna go ahead and kill it. I'm gonna kill the order right there with that was about $25 or $30. I pretty much dang near tag the lows. I think it's gonna bounce up higher here, but I would prefer a little bit deeper reading. So let's see if the news can create a bounce, right? Extended reading creates a bounce, and if it comes back down, and I'll try to re-execute. And if I missed it, it is what it is. So I exited out about $30 there on MNQ, and I want to see this low broke. And I want to see one more little scare tactic. And the reason for that is just because you heard it. News came, and then it moved. So let's see. I really hope that wasn't the flush out low of the day. But even if if that was the flush out low of the day, I'll be watching for, if we're trying to flush out low, I'll be looking for, this trend line to potentially break, tighten up, and then see if we can go back to daily VWAP. Like once we get extended from daily VWAP to come back up to it, maybe kind of take a little bit of a breather. I think that's a possibility. Okay. So there's the low. The low just got broke, but tick chart still not giving extended readings. What was I going to do? I told somebody I was going to do something about a 4% day. That's what I was going to do. Let me see if I can pull up my stock charts here. I'm going to try to do this while I'm trading live. So we got through that 6,400, like we discussed. That could be a possibility, and then we can see some extended tick readings. That's a good sign. Let's see here if anything's changing from this perspective. 63.75. Okay, so 63.75 can be a level of interest. Not a big one, but could be.
Jamie Dimon of JPM notes that we should be a little cautious on rate decision. Is speaking in a live interview.
Now we got him talking.
At the moment.
Okay. Come on. Give us one nice little flush here. Maybe 6375. Just get underneath it.
And Jamie Dimon does know that people can deal with the 15% tariff environment. Says tax bill created a very stable tax environment.
Nah. 6350? Maybe 6350. Oh gosh, man. I don't like the put side here. I think there's going to be an opportunity, but I just need to see the tick reading. Like it just, I got to just give it a second. Okay. So while I'm giving it a second, I'm going to build out that chart of what I was saying about as far as the rate of change goes on a single day. So you mentioned 4%. So I'm going to go ahead and remove that. Okay. Here we go. Oh, Flush, dude. Flush. Flush us. About time. Almost time. It's not a big reading. All right. I'm going to do one MNQ down here. And then I'm going to now wait for the extended tick reading. That's a pretty strong move. Okay. Now I'm going to build out this chart and wait to see if a tick reading can come. And then I'll try to add in a second MNQ. Give me a second. Keep an eye on it. If we bounce up, 10, 20 points, 20 points, maybe I'll cut it, but let me build out a chart while I'm doing this. Multitasking. Multitasking. Full quote. Update. Turn volume off. Okay. So we were talking about when we've seen like a 4% day. Let me add a horizontal line. We'll do minus 4% and 4%. Okay.
Now seeing the readout from Mexican President Sheinbaum, she says she held a very good phone call with US President Trump.
Okay. So I'll go the last 10 years.
Energy update from Reuters citing LSEG data says at least one train at Freeport LNG remains shut down on Thursday following a power
right, let's see if we can do this here.
in the entire plant being taken offline Wednesday.
All right, so I'm looking. Man, I would love to see this just all of a sudden flush from these lows. I don't like to see the bounce right here, even though that I have an MNQ contract on. I would prefer it to just like...
Just seeing CNBC's Megan Kisela speaking on the recently announced Trump extension on trade with Mexico. She cites a White House official, says, confirms to me that this means all the aspects of the status quo in Mexico hold, including exemptions for the USMCA compliant goods.
Okay, so here is a rate of change. Oh, no, sorry, my bad. Give me a second here. That's the wrong one.
And more from Sheinbaum. She says, we avoided the increase in tariffs announced for Friday.
So we got some tariff talk going right now. Did have a little bit of a kind of a, I mean, it's a 30-second candle, but I mean, theory, that's kind of a bullish turning candle, but it's 30 seconds, so I don't put weight on that. Okay, so here is the chart that I wanted to show you. So you said, well, how frequently does a 4% day? Let me show you. So typically it's where volatility is and where there's news. So you can see it happened. Oh, these blue lines during the COVID, right? 2018, when there was a lot of volatility there. Remember, we had like trade wars or whatever was going on over there. Even there in like 2015, 2016, where, it was pretty crazy trading time there too as well. And then over here, which was the tariff war, trade war. And then over here was the 2022 bear market where you saw that. So to see a 4% move in a day, it's typically during a time. Damn, dude, I just missed my opportunity to exit there. Let's see if it keeps going. It's very rare, unless if there's something going on, like, hey, we're in a bear market, there's a war going on, all right, maybe Russia, Ukraine, plus all this stuff going here, inflation. Over here was the pandemic. 2018, we had a massive drop in moves in volatility there with all types of stuff going on. And then we had the flash crash even in December, the Christmas Eve massacre. So it is rare. It's very rare to see a one-day move of 4%. Very rare, unless if we're in the context of time for that, right? Okay. So I still got one MNQ on. It's currently up on the position. Let me look at ticks. Ticks under 0. Man, I wish this was like a flush out move over here. Let me see. I'm going to go ahead and let me zoom in on my chart here. Oh, there's a nice little pop. I'm going to go ahead and exit at a $40 gain. Oh, wait, no, I put a stop at 40 and it keeps going. Give me a second here. 45. Holy moly. Now I'm at 50. Okay, it just stopped me out. So right there, that was a pretty nice execution, about $50. one MNQ contract from down here, and I just got stopped out over here because I hit the DOM and it actually went above it faster than an execution, so I got to move up a little bit there. So we got a nice little bounce back. Now, remember, if you missed that little pop, don't worry, zoom out, right? We're trading, that's a pretty quick scalp. We're still seeing lower highs, lower lows. So I would prefer, like if I feel more confident, I would like to see a negative tick reading or an extension, and then or break this downtrend that we've been seeing. And maybe I'd be like, all right, now I think we can maybe come back up to and around the 600s, you know. If we get a strong flush, I'm going to be looking at the 425 also as a key level. Sometimes just you get these interesting kind of algo kind of trades off of the 25 readings on 100 block handles. If it comes down there, not slowly and methodically, but like a fast hit. So we'll keep an eye there on on a 25 handle. I'll just put it down here now just so we have it. All right. Anybody else trading that? IONQ is looking tight again. Yeah. I was. Let me pull that up. I haven't seen that one for a minute here. I remember it was on there though. Yeah. So IONQ, I would say, yeah, it is getting kind of tight here, but it did, kind of break this little part right here. So I would actually prefer to buy it higher and come back up into and around this 45 and kind of do something like that. These averages to turn back around to offer up a little bit better risk reward. If I enter now, I guess my stop could be this low, but we also have earnings right around the corner, so I can't really execute into that. I guess I gotta just be patient and wait it out here. Bosong, so somebody had mentioned how common is it for a 4% move? Because they said, do you think we were probably not going to get to 610 on the day? And I was like, that's a 4% move from where we are. So I just showed them how infrequent a 4% move actually is and what kind of conditions the market has to be in order to see those type of days. So I'm not saying we're going to move 4% today. That's not what I was saying. What I was saying was in order to get those type of days, you're typically in turbulence, right? The 2022 bear market, COVID-19, 2018, where we're doing with all that, I thought it was like straight trade war with China or something like that. I can't remember exactly. I'd have to look. But yeah. Okay. Where is my water? Did I bring my water out there? Five DMA U-turn. Oh, let's take a look. Yeah, there's definitely a possibility. So we're underneath the 5 DMA, but we are, this would be probably yellow. Given the context, we're below it, but it's still kind of inclining. So yeah, if we turn back through, that'd be great. We are underneath the VWAP week to date. We have not tagged or closed this little gap here on yesterday, but look at how we got rejected right at the daily implied move. That's pretty impressive stuff there. Pretty impressive. Even and these levels, they weren't put in the morning, right? These levels were given to us, at nighttime. Right? Or the close of business. So we got Apple reporting after the bell. Apple has an expected move right now of about $9.43. So that's kind of getting rather big. Then we have Amazon reporting. That should be around 13 to 13.30. Nice there. Going to go back over to the charts and we're going to look at the tick chart. You can't see us not closing the gap, future. I mean, we are right there, so. So we did get our lowest tick rating. It did come on a little bit of a news, but it wasn't out of this world bad of a tick rating, right? It was no -1,000, but it was still given the context of the market conditions, I don't mind it in here, but I'm not going to go heavy, right? So what did we do? I did one MNQ, right? I built it into much larger positions, a much bigger, amount of contracts than just one MNQ, but it did produce at 811-ish. Let me see here. A nice little bounce. I think, where was that actually? Did I do it at 811? Oh yeah, it was right here. It was a little tiny bounce. But I didn't trade this. I thought I traded down here. I can't remember, but I did make a trade down here, and then I exited just a second ago. I'd have to go back and watch my live stream to see what I did. Or did I wait it out a little bit? Maybe I waited it out. I can't remember if I traded this now. Whatever. Don't matter. Let's get another extended tick reading and do it again. Let's do it again. All right. What does the tick track? The NYSE tick is the NYSE tick is tracking stocks trading on upticks minus the downticks at any given moment. So if all of a sudden you have a full blown like extended reading, it means all the stocks are trading at a downtick or an uptick, right? So those minus 1,000 plus 1,000 readings that we look for, it's like everyone piled on one side of the boat, and it's like getting like it's about to collapse or capsize. So that's when I do the fades, are those more extended readings. Interest rate tantrum in 2018. Is that what that was? Okay. Yeah, I can't quite remember here. Go back up to markets, net flow. The green line's trying to pick back up a little bit here. Red line's flattening out to coming down. Hey, perhaps we're trying to find some sort of a bottom. I would say let's just keep an eye here still on the trend for the day. And for whatever reason, if we come down to this 25 handle, 425 handle, if it's a fast flush down there, I'll probably execute into that too. So that would be one idea. Any sort of extended tick reading, I'll probably take that. And then if we can break this trend for the day and kind of tighten up a little bit, maybe I'll try to play back up to daily VWAP.
For those who track the Dallas
So
Fed,
3 different areas, 3 different ways I'm looking to trade.
Price index, that's up 3.4% annualized in June, up from May's 2%.
Wonder if it's similar to a tick chart. I don't use the tick charts, but maybe because it is tracking like, I forget how it's tracked on the tick candle chart you're talking about, right, Stinky Man? Because you can choose you can even choose charting like 1,000 tick chart, right? I wonder what that would be like. I haven't played around with those. So this was a higher low right there, a very shorter term higher low, and then it broke this. So we have a higher low, and now we're going in to test this level right here. So for those that think, hey, this could be the time, maybe test this out and then see if it can go through. But that was a higher low. That's positive to see. And now we're breaking to a higher high. So in the very, very short term, that's, I guess, positive, but we're still below the trend here. So I'd like to see what it looks like on like a pullback. If we can do like another higher low and then break through. Remember, there's a lot of focus in on 6,400 still. Okay. All right, now we're kind of coming into here, this little area. We're coming back into the trend. See what it does. Yep, exactly. Climax. Could be a mini pump and up, but remember, there's a lot of focus in these higher levels still. Well, 63.75 can act as support now, actually. And then we have 63.90 and 6,400. That's up here. Okay. So it's still battling the trend. So I want to see what it does. I'd prefer not to see a straight line up. I would prefer to see a pullback or some consolidation. And then market net flow, and just pay attention, right? The red line's flattening out and the green line all of a sudden started picking up a bit here. And we're back here at VWAP for week to date, and we're back at the 5-day moving average. this is like one of the first 15-minute candles that were green. So maybe if we can break this high, it opens the door for, you know, a little bit more of a move higher, right? This is not necessarily a bad thing. This is what you want to see if you're bullish. I would just like to see what it looks like after kind of a breath. This was, look where it's come from down here to up here with no breath. Okay, you do have a higher low here. Now I'd like to see another higher low and maybe consolidate a little bit before striking higher. Then we'll probably run into some contention up here, and then we have daily VWAP up there. Hey, what's up, comrade? Yeah, I've been on since the morning. It's been a good morning here. Hey, thanks, Red 5. Thank you. Appreciate that. Got about 235 people here right now. What do I can do to, hey, what's up, Vinny? Oh, you got plus 75 on it? Nice. That's a big trade. That's nice. Holy moly. Wonder what I got to do to like get more. Maybe I got to make a more consistent show to go live. Maybe I should just do this more frequently. Build up a live viewership. I think a lot of people enjoy the live streams. What's up, Juan? So yeah, NQ is bouncing here. It still hasn't pulled back yet. So I played here to here basically, and then I'm not playing this right here.
Update on
I'm looking to see what it does.
95 billion 4-week.
I'm not trying to chase it.
4.29% bid to cover, 2.63 times. US also sells 85 billion 8-week bills. High rate, that's 4.29% bid to cover.
What's included in my day trading service? I don't actually have a day trading service. Somebody, Pimp Big. I don't have a day trading service. I don't have an alert service. I have like a swing trading community, and there's a day trading channel, and I post some stuff in there. But I wouldn't expect, like, don't have the expectations that you're like I'm going to send in alerts and do all that kind of stuff. It's not really what it is. You're on holiday. Why are you here? Hanging out with us while you're on break? That's funny. So that was a good sign, right? These higher lows and then break, but just it's kind of getting away from me, which I'm fine with. I want to see what it looks like when it consolidates. But we did break the trend, so now, I mean, that's a really good sign because look at how it's been holding, kind of even right before the market open, and then boom, lower. Then all of a sudden we have a higher low and a higher high. So I would like to see how this kind of consolidates. Like I said, a straight shot back up to daily VWAP. I'm like, all right, whatever, let it go, right? I'm not interested in that. But if we can get some sort of flag or consolidation, yeah, cool. I'll look into that then. We might run into a little bit of a hiccup over there. You had prior support, boom, and then it acted as resistance here. So maybe that's a level of interest as well, and that's going to be in confluence with the daily VWAP. I know some people, if it's a straight shot, they might be like, it's a good short. And perhaps, yeah, if it is a strong move and you're just trying to scalp fade, that'd be an opportunity there. I'm personally not too much into it at the moment. I'm looking to trade up here, but I want to like see what it does before, you know. It did just get our highest tick reading of the day, so you know, coming back a little bit, breathing, and then if it holds up in those ranges, that'd be positive. Let's take a look back at market net flow. We have the green line crossing back above the red line. That is a positive sign here. So I'm looking for the dips, I'm looking for the consolidation, and then I want to trade it up into the 600s. So here we go. Here's a little bit of a breather here. So I mean, even in this area right here, could be nice to maybe build a position, not build, but maybe one MNQ and just kind of let it go and see what happens, and see if we can trade it into here. Because like even there would be, I'll just do it. I'll buy one MNQ. Okay, it's in. So what I'm looking at here is, I want this low to hold, right? So here's the risk. And then potential reward. I mean, potential can go, I mean, we can go back up to the opening range. But I didn't do 2 MNQs. If we did 2, I'd exit 1 here and then just hold on and see what happens. But That would be kind of the risk to reward there. If we go higher from this point, I'd probably just move it break even. Because this, I mean, that was hardly a pullback. Now, if we can go like this and consolidate a bit more, or like this, maybe I'll add an MNQ to play it up. But right now I got one MNQ on, and we'll see what happens. Okay. Do I trade options flow at all? I look at options flow on occasion, but I don't trade options. And I know that flow can be still used even if you don't trade options. And I look at some of it, but I look at a lot of like just market conditions and then price action. And if there is like options flow to support it, awesome. But I typically see that within expectations of the market, like expected moves and stuff too, because the market, it takes into consideration everything. Hop on the rocket ship. It helps the bulls. Okay, I'll hop on the rocket ship. Although if we hop on the rocket ship, remember, it's also been known to jinx. So I'd like to see back up to 6,400, but remember 6,390 grew in some size. What is going on here? 6,390 grew into, what is going on here? Kind of grew in size there. So we can get kind of hung up at around 6,390, which is this level. Okay, that's about 3 points up. All right, I'm in the rocket ship. My live streams take the stress out of trading. It just adds stress to me, of course.
Update for to meet with US President Trump at the White House, according to Bloomberg.
I didn't catch that. All right. So yeah, I got one MNQ on. Now we're just kind of consolidating. I didn't get the greatest fill though. That's kind of annoying. I was a little slow to act, but that's okay. If for whatever reason we actually come up to a plus 1,000 reading, I'll exit my position. Even if we don't reach up here prior. But if we do get up to like a 1,000 tick reading, I'll probably just dump the MNQ and I'll look to see about a rebuy. Your spaceship spat you out and told you to find a job. Sheesh. All right, so SPY, like I said, on this 15-minute time frame, we got back above VWAP. Stinky Man kind of called it. He said, look for a U-turn through the 5-day moving average. Nice call there. I'll look to see if there's any levels opening up here on the upside. 639. I'll look for 639 maybe. Yeah, so 639, 640 could be an upside target. For SPY, market net flow is kind of all over the place actually right here. It was getting better. That I don't love. To me, this is choppy, but it also not the greatest look here, right? At this current moment, I'm not in love with that. I would prefer more supportive, which kind of makes me want to just dump it. But I guess I'll just hold on for a moment. You know, I'm going to actually just put in profit. I'm going to go ahead and do a stop up 25 bucks. So my stop is, my entry wasn't that good, but I think I got, my entry was 548, which I thought I got in lower at the kind of the wick candle here on this pullback, but I guess I got it a little bit late, a bit above. So 548 is my entry. And then I just put a stop in at 560. And I'm going to kind of just slowly creep it up here to 64 and then keep on going while it's kind of creeping up higher until it stops me. Because this is a pretty nice move here, but I don't want market net flow to just come in out of nowhere and then shock me. So I'm just going to have this stop and trail it here nice and slowly. There's a nice big pop, so now I'm going to move it up some more. I got to stop now up $50 in profit. So that's a 573 handle. That's pretty tight. I'm basically right there. I'm going to get stopped out, I think. All right, yeah, I'm stopped. There we go. So I didn't wait all the way. That's fine.
Those monitoring the Figma IPO shares indicated to open between 75
And then the market
$60
flow
daily.
kind of changes back.
This
That's
is
fine.
a
That was a good
$3
trade.
IPO price.
One MNQ contract for how many handles was that? It was like from, I say, 48. Like 30 handles, right about 30 handles. So now, if we can pull back, I would like to see the consolidation. And by the way, this was also into this area over here where we did run into some supply, okay? So let's pull back. Let's pull back. That'd be great. And then let's set back up and flag and try to go back for daily VWAP.
264 million euros.
Give us some sort of entry here, like a better entry than what I had over here at least. Alpha, you told me? What did you tell me? I didn't catch it, the other comment. Oh, the rocket helps. Yeah.
Canadian crude differentials. It's at least through Q4.
Yeah, market net flow, it's trying to like cross through right now. So that's a positive sign, but it's like kind of in and out. So it's not clean yet. It's not really clean. But, you know,
Pirelli H1 revenue.
it's positive enough here to get us to 638, which is a buck higher on SPY. Back up here. I prefer just a little bit cleaner now. For me, specifically for a new setup. But that, for me, was more than great. So far, right now, I'm up 315 bucks. Sweet. 315 bucks, but times 6 accounts. All trades were executed here on the show today. That's a good day. Holy moly. Holy macaronis. That's pretty good. Holy moly macaroni. It's actually probably a day done for me right now because I got to keep within consistency of this other prop firm that I'm trading. Technically, I can go higher than this, but like $100, maybe $200 higher, and then I got to be careful because then it extends out some stuff based off of consistency. All right, we'll go back to MNQ, NQ. We are consolidating here, but still no really pullback. So I just want to see what it looks like with a little bit of a shakeout. Here, let's go back to a regular view here. We'll go tiny camera. You got some money back down back to zero. Nice, nice. Jill, the way that I'm doing multiple accounts, so this the futures that I'm trading right now are part of a prop firm, so it's like sim funded, right? So this is this is actually money that I can make, right? So I got to not pass their test. I'm in a funded account. I have to reach the payout target to get my payout, right? So I'm working on that now. But the way that it works is that I have 6 accounts, and then in Tradeovate, I just sync them all together. So I bought 6 accounts from them, and I sync them, and it's just copy trading. So I trade on the DOM, and it copies through all of them pretty seamlessly because it's a sim funded or whatever. Gosh, man, this was just like no pullbacks here. So at least we caught a little bit of a pullback, like very little pullback over here. And then this one to here was good. So this one to here was good. So we caught this, and I caught that. And I've been looking to see a better consolidation or something. And the main area that I'd say focus in on would be, yeah, up here. I think coming back to VWAP makes sense. But like I said, I prefer some sort of consolidation. It just hasn't given us, but yet we managed what we could. Oh, you're welcome, Joe. How's fast? Yeah, we can look at some individual names if you want. What is Apple doing today? Apple's flat on the day. They got earnings. What was UNH up to? I've been watching that one. I want to see. That one looks like crap. Earnings came out negative, lower today. Fast doesn't look bad at all. Fast looks great. This thing pulled back nicely. Now having kind of a little bit of a reversal today, so it's flagging. Yeah, probably going to retest that 48 at some point here. Positive flow, or sorry, positive trend. Looks good. Yeah, good looking chart. I would like to see a little bit more of a consolidation, but yeah, it's a pretty nice, pretty clean move, right? You have big earnings, follow through. Now we get the consolidation. I like seeing that stuff. Yeah, expected move for Apple is about $10, I think. Yeah, $9.47 right now. Remember, it's at 208 right now, so that'd be $10 higher, $10 lower, basically.
Euros versus the estimate 5.872
But
billion.
you want to pull it at the end of the trading session.
Does report adjusted EBITDA of 1.336 billion euros.
Coming up to weekly VWAP. Which product is coming up to weekly VWAP? Is it NQ? That is. SPY is above it, so it must be NQ. The SPY low is at the vol trigger. I didn't watch SPY. I didn't watch the gamma levels on SPYs or anything like that, but what was I watching at that time? I think I was just watching the tick readings, and it was getting pretty extended. But that's cool. On the VT, weekly NQ. Okay, cool. I have to go back and add that VWAP. Little consolidation, but still, I don't know. I wouldn't even consider that really that much of a consolidation. We're talking a minute here. I don't really use tick chart for exits. I use it pretty much for entries, and I mean, on that video, I talked about the tick chart pretty extensively, and then the conditions that I watch for it too. Have you seen that video by any chance? If you haven't, I'll just watch that video because I kind of go into details about like what I look for. Was this all this morning just for profit taking? I'm sure that has definitely an effect. But remember, we're still below opening range, and we're below daily VWAP. So it could have been, for all we know, it could be an exhaustive blow off, earnings move. We don't know that, yet. I mean, if you look at Microsoft, I mean, it's trading at lows of the day. There's a big reversal intraday, and this was already a strong move. So we got to see how this kind of consolidates and does up here in these levels. I mean, that's not looking too healthy. If this thing breaks down, that's not a great sign. Oh, shoot. Dang, it's only 8:48 in the morning. We're live already. I'm burning up. I don't know why I have a sweater on. I was cold this morning. Whew. All right, we're kind of, I don't even consider this a pullback. Gosh, this was pretty strong, man. Pretty strong. Let's go back to market net flow, bullish. I guess 640, 638 to 640. It's still up there. That's where the magnet's at. Eh. How's everyone else doing so far? Hopefully today's stream helped out. Navigate. Get you focused in on position sizing, starting small. Don't go too crazy, too heavy. We could have taken the same trades, but you could be down actually if your position sizing was off, That's what's crazy about markets.
European equity news for Enel in Italy.
Yeah, FIG
Enel launches
IPO
a
at
share
noon.
buyback
Interesting.
program Up to 1 billion euros to pay additional remuneration to shareholders.
Done for the day, Blackbeard. Nice.
And do note this program is to run from the
Got a
1st
nice
of
move on
August to
Neo.
no later
Very
than December
cool, very cool.
31st, 2025.
Here's a little bit of a pullback. Finally, something. Let's see what it does now. Yeah, that's true. Earnings move can do that to you. It's very, very true. All right. Oof, man, I'm burning up. So we watched the trend, nice break. We saw a higher low, all good. Still technically, more of a bearish look for the day intraday, but we're still up on the trading session overall in the SPY. Hand of cues. What is FIG, by the way? Somebody said that, yeah, the IPO's coming. I don't know what that is. I'm burning up. Maybe it's because I'm next to 4 screens. All right. Market net flow. Choppy still look. Holding above the 5-day, above week to date on SPY. Anything else surprising us here today? End of month. So we got new weekly, monthly expected moves coming out tonight. We get some mortgage rate stuff, 15-year, 30-year at 9 a.m. Whatever. Then we got earnings after the bell with Apple and Amazon and MicroStrategy and Coinbase. What are they up to? Coinbase looks pretty nice, to be honest. MicroStrategy up almost 3% on the day today. This one actually pulled back. This is, man, it's gonna be interesting to watch this one. The expected move on there is $20. Coin also looks pretty nice. Nice pullback and coming into earnings. The expected move on this thing, $25. Dang. What temperature in Sacramento is it right now? I don't know. My house is AC, but I don't think it's in this room that I'm in right now. I think my thing's closed. I don't know why. I gotta open up a window or something. I'm burning up. It's been in like the 90s. We had a heat wave and then it cooled down for a little bit. Right now it is 64 outside, but I have a sweater on and I'm burning up. Oh yeah, it's probably that. You're probably right. It's probably the hat. That would do it. Okay, healthcare down, utilities, communications is still one that's the performer today. Do we have something to do with the... Oh, how did Roblox do? That thing was on fire for a while. Oh, look at that thing. That thing fired off like a rocket ship up to 150. Dang, I wish I would have paid attention to this. I probably would have shorted that. I did short it, but I've been out of the position now. Dang, if I would have seen this, I probably would have shorted up here at around 150. I don't know if I would have held it that long, but that was a big move. CVS. Dang, a lot of these earnings are actually, they bumped up, but they're just trading at the lows. Oh, how did the cruise line do? NCLH. Nice move up, but also trading at the lows. Weird. ABBV. This one's not as bad. Moved up on earnings and is kind of holding this tight pattern here. All right, SPY, inside trading candle on the 15-minute time frames right now. Still got some time, 4 minutes till that candle closes. NQ, this is a nice consolidation. It's kind of holding up, so if we can kind of break through this. Cool. Maybe flush it out a little bit more. And come back in, give us even a better entry. Market net flow is still holding up. Maybe get through this area over here. Where are we at? So 70s. Get through the 70s. Guess I can try that. I'll put on one. I'm not really confident about this one, but I'll play it through here and see if we can hold it up and break through.
Does report
I'm not that
revenues,
confident in this one, but if we can, then I'd like to play it up through here. But I think I'll just take the loss if it comes down through here, and then if it comes through here, stops me out, and if it resets back up, I'll try to play it back up. But I'm only going to do one MNQ because it's once again, it's not really a high conviction trade there. Yeah, I don't know if it's, yeah, it might shoot up, but I don't know. I feel like it's not that high of a conviction for me yet. So, okay, that's nice to see. Let's see if we can go. Yeah, it's a good pop so far, but yeah, we'll see. I want to break it away from my entry at least. It's, I'm up, up like a couple dollars. But a lot of the times that I want to be careful for is these pop-ups, and then they get faded and move down, and then they're kind of those false breaks. So we'll see. I might move my stop up just slightly here just to give it a little bit less space. Where is that at? That is at just under 60.
Yeah,
Let me just see. I'm going to put a stop sell 6 here. Just want to see what that would be in P&L terms. Oh, gosh, we're talking 30 bucks. Okay.
Euros.
If I move it up to the 60 handle. Okay, yeah, I'll put a stop loss at about 25 bucks. $61. So 20 bucks. All right, so if it stops me, I'm down about, I'll lose 20 bucks on the position. I think that's okay. I don't really feel like, and if it breaks out through here, I might even move it up a little bit more. I just don't want to give back anything from today because it was a good day today. It was a good day today, and we're still kind of battling through this area where we kind of flush through. So just got to be careful there. And then if we can get through this 80s, that'd be nice. The final push. All right, I like the push so far. I'm going to move up, stop just a little bit more. I'm being really tight. I'm being aggressive here because I feel like I can easily come back down to my break even from where we currently are. So I'm basically moving it to just break even, right? I'll move it up to give me my commissions. All right, so basically break even here. So if we break out, we can go, or we'll come back in, and then I'll just get stopped out. So it's not too high of a conviction trade for me. Move up a little bit here. For right, just go. I don't want it to be
The
wrong.
latest update from
I move it up to
Freddie Mac,
77, just under
mortgages,
77, so 76.
6.72% in July,
So I'm basically in about $10
versus the
profit.
6.74% in the
Not
previous week.
not quite. All right, now I'm about $10 profit. If it's right, I just want it to go. If it's right, I just want it to go. Okay, I'm moving it up to about 12.50 profit, 15 profit. Still in. I'm in the green. Hanging out at about $15 profit. That's just one MNQ contract. Looking at roughly 72. Only about like 8 handles or so. Okay, moving it up a little bit more here. It's going to stop me probably. About $20 profit. If this goes, just go, right? I don't want to deal with the pullback. Go. Moving it up to $25 profit. So up at the 85 handle. Moving to the low of that 30-second candle. Going $30 profit. It's going to probably stop me out right about here. $30 profit, and I'm out. There you go. I still think, by the way, I still think that these can go higher, but once again, I'm just kind of keeping things really tight here just to hold in profits. That's now 344 for the day. Good stuff. If I did 2 MNQs, I would have just scaled one out and just had the other remaining, maybe at like break even at this point. But I just haven't felt the confidence to do 2 MNQs in most of the setups today.
Democrat Schumer
All right.
calls on Union Pacific to buy Norfolk Southern, hostile takeover of America's infrastructure.
Nice little pullback here. Market net flow is not giving me much edge, and we're coming back up to around that 638 here. So we probably can run into just a little bit of resistance right overhead. I think that's going to come into play. At this point, I'd be crazy if we didn't touch daily VWAP. To be in my opinion, I think that'd be pretty nuts. Imagine coming all this way and not touching daily VWAP and trying to break it. I think we're going there. So if you have a position in or you did more than 1 MNQ, I mean, I'd be still looking up here, but right now I'm out. I played was it right here? Yeah, right here to right here.
So you are aware, Microsoft just noting
Cool.
that Microsoft Threat Intelligence says it uncovered a cyber espionage campaign. by
The
Russian
prop
state
firm that I
actor
mainly
back in
used was
60
Tradeify, CRW, and I got their max $80,000 in sim profits. And now I'm trading another one. I'm not mentioning the name of this one because I haven't got a payout from them yet, but I'll talk about it if I get a payout because I want to make sure their payout stuff works before I just rattle it off. All right. Do. All right, pulling back a little bit here. Hey, what's up, generator? What's going on with my stuff? I'm trying to log into my other platform here. It's not working. There we go. What is going on? Load in. There we go. All right. Let me go ahead and refresh this. All right. Any individual names that you guys want me to pull up? I do. I have code FOM. That should give you the best discount there. I believe right now, I think they're running a discount on Tradeify for 50% off straight to funded. I believe that's the discount right now. So code FOM for figuring out money. SoFi. Take a look at SoFi. Yeah, what's up with SoFi? SoFi had a pretty big reversal the other day, right, on earnings. That was a pretty crazy move. And then a follow through with some news, and now we're back up here. So very, very choppy price action. I'd want to let this all settle in. But overall, you're dealing with a lot of volatility and a lot of movement here. So you want to see it kind of contract and tighten up because it is in a positive trend. So it's looking good from a trend perspective. You're just dealing with a little bit more volatility here. So it could be, in base building mode or, consolidation mode from an expansion. So I'd like to see that kind of tighten up before just kind of getting in here. GCT. This looks pretty clean. GCT, Giga Cloud, nice, just calm pullback here in a bullish trend. Higher highs, higher lows. You've got earnings right around the corner. So I guess that's kind of the, hey, who knows what's going to happen here. But from a context perspective, I mean, I would take this just by the looks of it and try to trade it through, back up through this 26 area. So it looks pretty clean. Nice pullback after a nice move higher. It just, you got earnings around the corner, and that, you can expect maybe around a $3 to $4 expected move from the market. Rubric, RBRK. Yeah, this one's still holding up really well in a positive trend, kind of breaking out of this tight price action. So I'd like to see how it kind of contracts up here at around 100.
And she adds that investing in
Roblox. We did talk about Roblox really quickly. That's, I wouldn't be touching this one. I played around with a short throughout in here and even over here. And I ended up turning it into a profit because it was so small. And then I went heavier up here back through 25. Now, big reversal intraday. So see how this kind of plays out. But that's a big move and a big reversal intraday. Hood.
And Sean, I'm just noting that the strategy worked.
Hood is looking good. It's consolidating here. Earnings passed, right? Yeah. Earnings is out of the way, consolidating. Yeah, a good trend. Now it's just kind of consolidating. I'd like to see, the base build out a little bit more here. ARM. Yeah, ARM has been looking good too, but earnings kind of took it off. So ARM was looking good over here, but now you want to really kind of see price rebuild itself and see if we can break through the 180. Other than that, I'm not really interested.
1.66 billion for single bound of EBITDA, 3.81 billion.
NTNX, from a charting perspective, positive, good trend. 50 days kind of sloping down, but the 20 days turning around above a rising 20, above VWAP, and it's kind of butting its head back into this prior area. So overall, a lot of chop, but you are seeing a series of higher lows, and that's positive as we're kind of building into this pivot. So to play it back up into this area, cool, possible there, right? Warner Brothers, earnings around the corner, so be aware of that. But nice run. Now we got to see how it consolidates.
Does not imply further action on Mexico's parts.
Got to see how it consolidates. Microsoft. Yeah, another just a big reversal intraday. So got to just see how it consolidates earnings move. I would imagine that we're going to come test this VWAP here, right? At some point. That to me makes sense. So that's what I'd be watching for there. In fact, I might even just play a little trade here just to see if we can come back up there. It's just kind of holding these lows though. So if it breaks down, you can potentially see a continued flush. But to watch the earnings VWAP, right? The cash session earnings VWAP over here would be probably quite critical.
Sean, but I'm just acknowledging that
I'm not going to trade it right now.
Trump treats Mexico with respect.
I don't have the patience to watch it. KNSL. A little too choppy for me. A little too all over the place. Maybe if we can come back up here, back through the 500s and see how it shapes up. But right now it's just a little bit too all over the place for me. CRM, not the greatest trend. So it has to revive. Maybe see what it does if it comes back up to the year-to-date VWAP and we can break through that. But right now, underneath all these key averages, so it's just not getting love when the market's getting love. And that's kind of just a little bit of a red flag for me there. CRML. I don't know what this one is. Critical metals. Not really familiar with this, but this looks like one of those kind of things that like you trade if it's in play, but it looks kind of illiquid, being such a low price stock with a couple million here and a couple million there shares. But I'm seeing like the spikes of volume and then it kind of comes in. It is above the 50-day and year-to-date VWAP. So, I mean, there's a possibility here, but it's just not my style of like swing trade. So I kind of walk by these ones. Tesla. Be very careful here with Tesla because Tesla is coiling up, right? So you're going to get a move and believe the move when it happens because you get an expansionary move. It could be pretty powerful. Whether that's to the upside or downside, I don't know. But if it's good to the upside, you want to get back. You want to kind of get through this 330 level here and reclaim these averages. But we're still holding year-to-date VWAP. That's positive. But we're below now the 20, 50, and the 200, and they're kind of all in confluence. So you have a lot of coiled up tension taking place here in Tesla. So if Tesla breaks down and expands to the downside, just be patient with that. If it breaks to the upside, I think a 350 tag could happen in the matter of a day or 2 days, right? That's what happens when you get an expansionary move. Do I ever trade M2K? No, I don't. I'm not against it, but the voice in the background is my news feed. Bull or bear Apple. I don't know. I'm leaning bullish, but it's been a dog. So I don't know. The other one, Meta's been doing good and Microsoft's been doing good. And those had 2 standard deviation moves to the upside. This has been doing bad. Maybe it's going to have a bad move. It's a coin flip here with earnings. But what I can tell you is the market's pricing in about a $9.50 move, right? So plus $9, minus $9 is what you can expect the market doing. Now, the market was wrong about Microsoft and Meta by 2 standard deviations, but Microsoft is coming back in. Meta, what's Meta doing? Meta's holding up. Microsoft, not so much. Right?
And Sean, but I'm just noting that the deal does put the country in a good
Google.
position.
Yeah, Google ain't doing anything. Today's right now, it's just floating at its daily lower eyeball range. Let me look on the daily. It's not bad. I mean, I would look for the consolidations. It's above the 20, above the 50, above the 20, above year to date. They're all rising. So I'd be looking for consolidations here in Google because to go test these highs, if the market's bullish, which it is, you want to see these ones start to succeed and break highs too, right? I'm sweating. It's hot. PSN. Let me take a look at these. LDOS too. Okay, let's see. PSN. Parsons. You're going up against a declining 200, but on the shorter time frame, you have the higher lows, higher highs, and you have earnings around the corner. So I prefer to just kind of wait to see what earnings brings. LDOS. This one looks a little bit cleaner picture, right? And you can tell because we're above the 200, above 50, we're right at that 20. You still have earnings, but this one looks a little bit cleaner from a trend perspective because you're kind of at the year-to-date highs. So I like this look over the other one that you just mentioned. What's the deal with NEGG bumping up these last few days? Yeah, you're getting short squeezes in a lot of names, right? We're in an environment where you're getting a lot of short squeezes. So yeah, that's what you're seeing here in names like this. I don't know what the short interest is on this, but this is probably purely, some sort of a squeeze. Clearly, I mean, it's up 45% on the trading session today, right? Squeezy McSqueezerson. So be very careful with these, right? If you're going long up here, yeah, you might catch some more upside, but the risks are building. So just be careful because you can gap down. He's, a few dollars lower on a single trading session. $5 lower, right away.
After hours earnings here for Daimler Truck.
Zeta, let's take a look at Zeta.
A strong Q2 performance, but it did.
Zeta, yeah, earnings right around the corner. This is getting really nice. Yeah, tight, right by the year-to-date VWAP. It's under the declining 200, so, but it is holding. So this is actually, it's building a nice little base here. Could be one to watch for sure. But it has nothing to do with AM and NVIDIA. Does it have anything to do with NVIDIA? I have no idea. I wouldn't really do, like Newegg is a company that you just buy equipment from what I understand, right? It's like an online website that sells, chips and stuff. So I don't think that it has anything to do with, I think it has more to do with the environment that we're in, to be quite honest. And because you're seeing a lot of names like squeeze, like that's what we've been seeing. I was watching AMC, but AMC kind of came off. It was contracting very tightly here, and then it expanded, but it expanded to the downside. So I was looking to see if we can squeeze up higher with AMC, but I didn't get that opportunity. This one has earnings, but some of these names you might see bounce backs in these squeezy kind of names. So any high short interest names that I can pull up, let me know.
The company will continue to operate under the current United States, Mexico, and Canada agreement framework.
Strip, AMD and NVIDIA. What about Reddit? Yeah, RDDT. I don't know what Strip is. RDT. Reddit looks. Did earnings come? Oh, it's earnings today, or did it come? No, it doesn't look like it came yet, but it looks like it's today. I mean, it looks good. Just broke out today. I don't know if earnings was here to help move it. Right? Was it? I don't know what's going on there. Just be aware that earnings is after the bell. So who knows what's going to happen. About $21 of expectations. Holy moly. This thing is a big move. Big, 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 big. So just be aware. I don't know if I'm a fan of it or not, but it doesn't look bad. I just, I got to see what earnings brings. AMD has been really strong. I'd be looking for consolidations. This thing, small pullback, boom. Small pullback, boom. So now I look for the consolidations and for it to build a base. NVIDIA, same thing. Look for bases. This thing kind of just keeps going. The pullbacks are very, very small, but it will come a time where it has to build out a base. So right now it's just in full go mode. So we're coming up. By the way, we're pulling back up into that VWAP. I think we're just about there. Hardly any pullbacks, but we're making it slowly and methodically back up there. As we're approaching there, just be aware that we're also in confluence with the 6,400 level here too. So as we stated earlier, I wouldn't be shocked if we come back to 6,400, as that's one of the key levels from a zero-day perspective. Okay, so we were looking for extended tick readings. We really didn't get any, other than maybe one, but still not that crazy. Now we're coming back into that level that's quite important from a zero-day perspective. Okay, so is there a big opportunity where we currently stand? I think that the opportunities, like we paid most of those opportunities, and now we might get kind of hung up in and around here. If market net flow continues to do this, that's a positive sign, right? What's market net flow suggesting right here? it's suggesting that if we can get through 638, that can be quite a powerful statement on SPY. There's a big kind of 0-date level there, and we're about 20 cents away. Remember, we drew that out. That can act as a level of support because it acted as resistance. And now we're pulling back into it, and it's also not only that level, but it's also a level here from a 0-date perspective, a change perspective that you want to get through because it can repel price away. So 638 is down here, but you do have positive net flow starting to grow. We're at the upper gamma range for the day. So it might need to take a little bit of a breather, or, you know, if Microsoft comes back into play, maybe that kicks us off and we try to head back up. But right now, I'd be look for the consolidation, see kind of how price action settles in, because NQ is still below its daily VWAP. We're running into its prior area right over here, and then we're at that level. Okay, so it's not really an action level for me. I was looking at what we looked at prior, but doesn't mean that you can't create a trade that might work for you. I'm up about 344 on 344 for the day, $344 times 6. So about $2,000 in profits on the trading session today. Not too shabby. Not too shabby. Circle, yeah, let's take a look at Circle. This one was on the trade ideas. I'm looking to see if this can get back above VWAP from year to date. Oh wait, no, when did I put this VWAP on? Sorry, not year to date. IPO. Why is it on the wrong set? Let me go back one day on this. 6.5. I thought I had this on the right IPO day. 6.5. I don't know why it's not working. Well, I'd like to see it back up. It's probably right around this area. I would like to see it kind of recoup this area, right? So when it broke down, the idea here was to just let it go and wait to see if it can come back up. Because I was looking at it as it came back into this lower kind of up higher lows, and we just kind of hit this lower low right over here. So now I kind of want to see it prove itself and, you know, work itself back up. You have earnings in a little bit, but overall, I mean, it's pretty darn bullish looking. We're just getting a pullback. I just needed to see it prove itself before anything, because I'm not going to get all hyped up about it and watch it, you know, break down in front of me. Yeah, comrade, for sure. Thanks, Jill.
Now just getting commentary from New Mexico. Says all of this was achieved without a concession from Mexico.
Oh yeah, you can probably click the reference. Oh, it doesn't work. Regenerator, the reference link doesn't work. Does it not? Oh, that page can't be found. Let me update it. That's probably why I've been having issues. Oh, because they changed it. My bad. Let me go log back in. Thank you for letting me know. It would have been nice if they told me. Here's the reference. Here's the. You can use code FOM, but here's the link there. Let me see if I can edit this. And then I'll post it here on YouTube too. If you want to do Tradeify, there's the reference link. You can use code FOM. For some reason, it has the incorrect link because they must have changed it without telling me. It's awesome. Hopefully that's the one that works. Yeah, now it works. There you go. Ha! Now I got to go change it. Oh my gosh, that's what was... Dude, that's so messed up that they didn't tell me. That's messed up. Thanks for letting me know. Maybe they did tell me, but I just didn't see it. I got to update these videos.
Mexico Economy Minister says they are moving closer to the renewal of their trade deal with the US.
Punks. Oops. Dang it. All right. Updating all these links because they didn't tell me. Love it. Or I just didn't pay attention. They probably did tell me and I just didn't see it. Let me I'm gonna try to redo it on here too. I'll post it on, pin this, unable to pin, of course. Unpin, pin, unable to pin. So annoying.
Say NG update. Next decade's Rio Grande LNG project.
Okay,
in Texas
there we go.
gets the final environmental approval from the federal regulators, according to the documents.
One, yeah, I definitely spend more than 40 hours a week doing this. Yeah, thanks Jill for using the code. Glad it works. Start small, get used to it, you know, get situated with it. You know, don't try to chase or, you know, take it nice and slow and be happy with small winnings, like a small. And then once you actually get that first payout, you know, you makes it real. And then maybe try to scale up and you know, do what you got to do. But, you know, it's very easy to get overwhelmed and overworked and then blow up an account. And I'm proud to say that at Tradeify, I bought 5 accounts out of the gate. I used those 5 accounts, traded them for 80 days, and got max payouts. And then they moved me to live, and then I tried to swing for the fences and sucked. But they also my daily drawdown shrunk dramatically because I don't have my buffer, and I couldn't use. Well, I guess I could use somewhat of the leverage, so I could still use quite a bit of contracts, but my daily drawdown. So it was like it wasn't great. So I'll trade that here still, but it's going to be a lot smaller trades. And now I'm trying to work out another prop firm that's similar to Tradeify, but I'm not talking about it because I haven't got my payout yet, and I want to make sure that it's a seamless process before I even mention the name. Because, you know, you got to be somewhat careful. You never know. Like these are businesses, they can go under.
So shares now indicated to open at $100 to $105 a share.
All right, here we come up into the daily VWAP.
$33 a share.
Curious to know if Microsoft is getting its attention that we talked about back up to earnings VWAP. No, it's not even budging. This thing ain't even moving. So it's coming from other names. Let's take a look at Meta. Actually, no, wait, let's go like this. Boom. So we got NVIDIA. Yeah, NVIDIA is kind of straight up there. Microsoft ain't doing anything. Apple coiling up just slightly down on the day. Amazon is up 2.65%. So this move is coming from the back of Amazon right now that we're seeing. That's a pretty strong move. Google is down 1.3%. It's been going up here, but the recent move there was definitely Amazon. Look at that. What do they know? Amazon's cranking. And this happened to be right at that VWAP, right at daily VWAP. And we're right there at 6,400, so we're kind of getting pinned in and around this area. So we hit it. Took a while, but we got there. Okay, that's the kind of first touch in a while. Good at making money, just not a matter of blowing up accounts. Yeah, that's the thing. If everyone takes, the thing is, honestly, if everyone took it very slow and methodically and took their time on all these accounts, and just manage the risk. Unfortunately, a lot of these prop firms wouldn't exist because they would have to pay out a gigantic, bigger chunk of people. And the only reason why they're in business is because people fail. I mean, think of it. It's not like they're producing anything. They're taking money in, right? They're taking money in for challenges that they know from a casino perspective, people fail. It's not like they're producing anything. They're producing opportunity and the thought of potentially making money. It's like a casino. But casinos have worse odds. They have an edge, but worse odds than traders, than these things, because they know the math of how many people lose. And typically, most traders have a higher win rate. So I looked at CFD brokers before, and you could go to their websites, and they have to put hidden in the disclaimers and the stuff, the percentage of people that pass and the percentage of people, I don't know who get paid out, but the percentage win rates on some of these CFD brokers. And the majority of them actually have more winning trades than losing trades. It's just the trade that goes wrong, they go too big on, and then they blow it up. So when you focus in on like a high win rate, just know that you better get out of the position if it's not working, because you can be right 9 times, 9 trades, and then that one trade can really get you out of whack. Right? They're gonna ban me for being profitable. Maybe. What I mean, honestly, now I can just trade my own money, right? I can just in my own futures account, I can do it. But I still like the leverage that I can get from a prop firm. I might as well take advantage of it because the risk is like I wouldn't have been able to take $2,500 of my own money and turn it into 80 grand, without stressing. But I did with Tradeify. So I'll take advantage of it while it's here. Right? Why not? Oh, that's cool, Jill. You have your son learn? That's neat. So you're already well aware of trading futures and stuff. Nice. Yeah. That's cool. I started on a prop firm trading futures because I knew about it and how it works, but I was like, I'm not risking my own money because I was looking at it, I'm like, I just rather start here and just play with it and learn a little bit and then kind of work from there. Now I'm ready to, I would say I'm more than ready to trade my own account. It's just, if I trade my own account, like I just am not going to utilize the leverage that I get from a prop firm right now. Like I'm just not going to press limits. Just like my swing trading accounts. My swing trading accounts are like pretty slow and methodical. Like I don't go too crazy. All right, market net flow, this green line, look at this thing. This thing is taking off again like it did pretty much the same time yesterday. So what do they know? Are they getting ready for another move in earnings? What is going on? Okay. So positive market net flow. We're getting through that 638. 638, if we can hold above that, it propels price forward. That's a positive sign. We're trying to get through this VWAP here on NQ. We're just battling it out. All right. Just battling it out. Amazon still holding very strong. Tick chart, not giving us anything. Gave us like one little tiny thing. Nothing crazy. I was kind of around the lows of the trading session. All right, let's take a look at what the earnings are going to bring, and I think I'm going to call it quits for the stream. Yeah, we'll pull up UPS really quick. Somebody asked about UPS. UPS came into its lower eyeball range. We're at daily VWAP today. Earnings blew this thing down, man. This thing is getting hammered. Yikes. Low can keep going low. I was looking at Lulu too. Lulu's down. This one broke through its monthly implied move, and then it flushed through. This could be one looking for a bounce trade, but just be mindful. The competition for Lulu is also growing as well. like aloe, like aloe or whatever it is, right? You see more people wearing that now. Like I remember just at a time, like I would see less guys wearing the Lululemon Athletics, but I see many more athletes and much more guys wearing ALO. And it's kind of like, you know, I would put this as a competitor to Lulu,
direct policy divisions to work
to Lulu. And I don't think ALO is, I don't know if it's publicly traded or not, but they definitely can be taking away some market share. Neo and Baba. Neo is looking pretty good. Kind of consolidating here. It was a little choppy. Look at the volume coming in here. Yeah, something interesting with Neo is going on. These China names, right? Got to be careful, but yeah, something interesting there in Neo. Baba. Yeah, Baba actually looks pretty good, especially from a weekly perspective. Right? It's above a 40-week, 30-week, 10-week moving average. This could be the markup phase. It could be one of the bigger bases for a markup. Could be something big there. Could be seeing this at 200 in the future. 180 to 200. So yeah, Baba looks good too. Yeah, David, on the in the disc in my YouTube, I made a video that kind of I walk through my setup there actually and how I do it. Let me post the video link, and I show my strategy too.
And the SEC chair says he has directed the commission staff to draft clear rules for.
Here you go. I'm going to post it right here for you.
Custody and trading.
Wait a second. Why isn't it working? There you go. There you go. All right. With that, everybody, I'm going to hop off for the day. Yeah, I'm going to hop off. Get back to my stuff, take a break, get some food. Everyone have a good rest of your trading day. My futures account, I think it's day done. The only way I'm going to be entering into another futures trade is maybe like an extended tick reading or something like that. Other than that, I'm just going to chill. Got to go look at my swing trading account, see how they're holding up because something's going on with them. I saw them down on the day, which I don't know what, something must be driving it. But whatever, it is what it is. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate y'all being here. Oscar, thank you. TC, Comrade, Juan, Futures Trader, Jill, Primal, David, Blubber, Swiss, Rye, everybody out there on Twitch, Barkster, Generator, Playmax. Oh yeah, VUORI. That was like another one, right? That's another competitor for that clothing brand thing. Exotic. Thank y'all for tuning in. I appreciate it. Al, Denny, Varma, Mario, always with the trophies. Love it. C567, Matt, Seaman, iTerm. I'll be back soon, hopefully here. Jay Haas, later. All right, guys. Have a good day. Get some sunlight. If you have sunlight, where you at right now. See you, Jackie. See you, David. Whew. I need a shirt. All right. Signing out. See you later. See you, Jackie. Bye-bye. Oh, Neil looks pretty good, Blubber. It's just, yeah, it's coming up into a little area of resistance here, but it was looking pretty decent. All right, I'll try to talk about it again later.